Chapter 2652. Logically speaking, a cultivator's luck was much better than an ordinary person's. QL11 cultivators who entered the Heavenly Fortune Cave to absorb the mystic world's luck were much better than other cultivators. Ling Xingang had just come out of the Heavenly Fortune Cave. How could he encounter such bad luck one after another? The Chun clan experts quickly used their divine power to extinguish the fire and oil on Ling Xingang's body. Ling Xingang recovered quickly, but his face was covered in dirt. He didn't dare to stay any longer and left the giant tower like a stray dog. But he didn't know that something even worse was waiting for him. Why haven't Xian Guiming and Feng Jinhua come out yet? They probably think that this is a rare opportunity and want to stay for a while longer. Xian Guiming and Feng Jinhua didn't come out, but the Xian clan leader and the Chun clan elders weren't worried. Entering the Heavenly Fortune Cave was a rare opportunity. Who wouldn't want to stay for a while longer? Who knew, after waiting for a long time, Xian Guiming and Feng Jinhua still didn't appear? They waited for another 10 days. When they still didn't see them, the Xian clan leader and the Chun clan experts panicked and rushed into the Heavenly Fortune Cave. In the end, of course, they didn't find Xian Guiming and Feng Jinhua. Although they found some clues from the aura and traces left behind in the Heavenly Fortune Cave, they didn't know what happened. So the Chun clan and the Xian clan started to investigate the cultivators who entered the Heavenly Fortune Cave. But they couldn't find anything. Su Feng became the focus of the Xian clan and the Chun clan's investigation. Because the Chun clan experts tampered with Su Feng's token, the Xian clan couldn't find any evidence. Plus, the Pang clan was protecting Su Feng. So, they couldn't do anything to Su Feng. Su Feng returned to the Pang clan and immediately went into the palace to recover. In another 100 years, I will enter the 6th extreme Tao Saint's tomb. I must recover to my peak state as soon as possible and obtain more opportunities in the tomb. I hope I can merge with the purple void Qilin and cultivate the purple fate Dharma body before entering the tomb. Su Feng had a great harvest in the Heavenly Fortune Cave this time. After merging with the world fragment, the universe was close to perfection, and the Heaven Path Dharma body's strength. He also obtained a new ability from the Heavenly Secret Life shrinking technique, Life Pulling Karma Thread. If he obtained the Purple Cloud Ganoderma and the Purple Void Qilin, he would have a chance of cultivating the Purple Fate Avatar. These gains, no matter which one, made Su Feng very excited. Compared to these gains, killing Xian Guiming and punishing Feng Jinhua and Ling Xingang were nothing. Recover first, then merge with the Violet Void Qilin and cultivate the Violet Fate battle form. Su Feng began to wantonly devour ancient pills and fuse them with the blood essence of powerhouses to rapidly restore the life force he had consumed. At the same time, he also checked Xian Guiming's storage ring. He didn't expect to find something unexpected. In Xian Guiming's storage ring, apart from large amounts of pills and resources, there was also a jade slip that stored cultivation methods and divine abilities. With Su Feng's current wealth, it couldn't even compare to a Tao Lord, so he naturally wouldn't care about the resources within the storage ring. What he cared about was the jade slip. The jade scroll contained the Xian clan's most powerful attack theurgy. It wasn't an ordinary attack theurgy. It was a sword art, the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art. After deciphering the sword art, Su Feng's eyes lit up. As expected of one of the top 3 divine clans in the Fire Luo mystic world, they actually have such a powerful sword art. Not bad. This Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art is not bad. The Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art could fuse a cultivator's spiritual power and divine power with a flying sword to release shocking sword chi. It could also release a sword formation that could sweep through the universe. When one reached the level of a Tao Lord, they could even fuse their thoughts into sword chi to unleash powerful thought attacks. When Xian Guiming had easily killed Pang Xiao with his thoughts, he had used the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art. What made Su Feng interested was that cultivators' spiritual power and divine power had different attributes and abilities. The sword chi released by the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art had different attributes and abilities. The Xian clan cultivators cultivated the Great Tao of Metal, So the sword Qi released by the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art contained the true meaning of the great Tao of metal. It was incomparably sharp and invincible. If I fuse my pure Yang Dao essence into the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art, the sword Qi will also contain the true Yang Dao essence. When I use the true Yang evil-slaying sword, its power will be unparalleled. He felt that this Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art was tailor-made for the true Yang evil-slaying sword. Su Fong felt like he had obtained a treasure. What he lacked the most now was a powerful offensive mystique, and this returning essence radiant sword art had come at the right time. How could he not be happy? As Su Fong recovered, he began to cultivate. He had to master the Guiyuan Extreme Sword Art as soon as possible. It would definitely be useful in the Tao Saint Divine Tomb. The Jiuquan Limitless Scripture was his main cultivation method. He also had to study the Heaven's Secret Life, Shrinking Technique, and the Heaven's Expansion Mysterious Solution. There is also the Extreme Tao Profound Yang Tactic, as well as the Yang Transformation Profound Technique and the True Eyes of Incineration that he had obtained from the Extreme Tao Profound Yang Tactic. The Burning Light Escape Technique was a supreme escape technique used to protect his life. Su Fong naturally had to cultivate it. Not only Su Fong, but the Ancestral Dragon, the Flame Beast, and the Stone Essence were also using the various resources Su Fong gave them to rapidly increase their strength. Xuanxin, Luo, and other relatives and friends inside the Heaven's Path Dharma body, as well as Qingyu, Bailing, and other Big Goblin, were also using the high-level resources of the Jiuquan Divine Realm to continuously increase their strength and strive to reach the level of transcendence as soon as possible. In less than 10 years, Su Fong had recovered the life he had lost to peak condition. The luck he had used in the Sky Fortune Cave had also been restored. Only Caillou's Tao heart was damaged. It was not something that could be recovered in just a few decades. It's time to fuse with the purple Void Qilin. Su Fong was filled with anticipation and began to fuse with the purple Void Qilin. Within the 9 Mystery Tao Palace, the sealed purple Void Qilin was sucked into the chaotic whirlpool space where the purple cloud battle body resided under Su Fong's will. The purple Void Qi that carried Su Fong's aura began to seep into the purple Void Qilin's body. Although the purple Void Qilin had taken the form of a spirit beast, it did not have any intelligence. It only had instinctive consciousness. At first, it was constantly resisting Su Fong's aura, but after sensing the aura of the purple Void Dharma spirit, not only did it no longer resist, it even began to cooperate with the purple Void Dharma spirit. When the purple Void Qi that contained Su Fong's aura and consciousness completely penetrated the purple Void Qilin, it could sense the astonishing and mysterious fortune of the mystic world. The purple Void Qilin was the manifestation of the Fire Luo mystic world's fortune. After countless years of accumulation, it condensed into a form. How could the fortune it contained not be astonishing? Master's words were indeed correct. Once my purple Void Dharma body completely devours the purple Void Qilin, I will definitely be able to cultivate a true purple Void Dharma body. Su Fong could not help but become excited. He urged the purple Void Dharma body to slowly absorb the purple Void Qilin's aura. The purple Void Qilin's body slowly turned into nothingness. Finally, its body began to collapse, turning into a dense cloud of purple Void Qi. The purple Void Qilin's last bit of purple Void Qi was completely devoured by the purple Void Dharma body, completely dissipating into nothingness. As large amounts of purple Void Qi were absorbed by the purple Void Dharma body, it circulated through the Dharma body's meridians and became a part of the Dharma body, causing it to become more solid. In the end, the Dharma body condensed into a purple Su Fong. It had purple hair, purple skin, and a layer of purple Xian Guang covering its entire body. It was like the embodiment of the heavenly Tao's fortune. Bang! The purple Void Dharma body suddenly opened its eyes. Purple light flashed in its eyes. Even its pupils were purple. Immediately after, a purple aura swept out from the purple Void Dharma body and quickly enveloped Su Fong's Jiuquan Tao Palace. It merged with the Xian Yang Dharma body, primordial spirit Dharma body, and physical body. At this moment, Su Fong was in high spirits. Every strand of his hair was filled with the heavenly Tao's fortune. Wang. The heavenly fate, shrinking techniques, Tao runes, and the heavenly extermination runes flashed together. Su Fong could clearly feel that his connection with the world and the heavenly Tao had become closer. There was an incomparably comfortable feeling. His fate had also undergone an extremely subtle change. The true yang, evil-slaying sword, the flame-stomping boots, and the other Xianguang in his body trembled under the divine aura that enveloped Su Fong's body. They automatically submitted to Su Fong. The prideful, primordial spirit in the true yang, evil-slaying sword was also trembling in the vast space of the formation. Its arrogance was gone, and its consciousness was only filled with submission to Su Fong. After merging with the purple void Qilin, Su Fong had finally cultivated the purple void Dharma body. In the Pan-Song universe, I had the purple void Dharma spirit, which gave me the ability to control Dharma treasures. At the same time, it gave me supreme fortune. Now that I've cultivated the purple void Dharma body, it will definitely bring me even more extraordinary power. Su Fong was hale and hearty. His eyes flashed brilliantly, and his heart was filled with great joy. At this moment, Shi Xian Daozu's admiring voice suddenly rang out in the Jiushuan Dao Palace. The purple void Dharma body. Extraordinary, very extraordinary. Su Fong, you're probably the only cultivator in the Jiushuan divine realm who has such an extraordinary Dharma body. Receiving praise from Shi Xian Daozu was not an easy thing. Su Fong could not stop smiling. I predict that your purple void Dharma body will not only bring you supreme fortune and the ability to control the Xianguang, but also the ability to dispel all evil curses. When you have enough power, your purple void Dharma body will also have the ability to grant others supreme fortune, divine grace, and all sorts of miraculous abilities related to luck. I've seen countless extraordinary Dharma bodies, but this is the first time I've seen such a miraculous purple void Dharma body. Your purple void Dharma body will not only change your fortune, it will also change your destiny. In the future, you must quickly improve your purple void Dharma body. It will bring you unimaginable benefits. Even Shi Xian Daozu was full of praise for Su Fong's purple void Dharma body. After ending his conversation with Shi Xian Daozu, Su Fong began to devour the remaining 2.5 purple cloud Ganodermas to stabilize his newly formed purple void Dharma body. Unknowingly, 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. Su Fong, the Pang clan leader's thought appeared within the array. We're leaving for the tomb of the Tao Saint. Su Fong's spirits were lifted. The Pang clan leader's thought figure nodded. Yes. However, there's still a problem. What is it, Qian? Young Master Ling Xing'ong of the S-World has died. Chapter 2653. At the mention of Ling Xing'ang's death, the Pang clan patriarch's expression became strange. As it turned out, after Ling Xing'ong left the Heavenly Luck Cave, unlucky things happened one after another. Just as he left the Heavenly Luck Cave and was flying through the sky, a volcano in the Xian world continent erupted. If it weren't for the experts by his side who came to his rescue in time and the powerful Xian Bao's defense, he would have lost his life. In order to suppress his shock, Ling Xing'ong went to a brothel in a mortal country to seek pleasure. As it turned out, the brothel girl had the bloodline of the demonic snake clan. The women of the demonic snake clan like to swallow the essence qi of men. The demonic snake clan's bloodline, hidden in the brothel girl's body, shouldn't have been awakened. However, after Ling Xing'ong had ravaged her, it had awakened her bloodline, which had almost sucked his yang dry. After such unlucky things happened one after another, Ling Xing'ong didn't dare to stay in the Fire Luo Xian world anymore and planned to leave through the Profound Gate. Who knew that he would encounter the gate to the Thousand Gate? The Profound Gate in the S-Xian world was damaged, so Ling Xing'ong had no choice but to travel through the chaotic void. From the Fire Luo Xian world to the Thousand Gate, the S-Xian world had always been peaceful. Who knew that something unexpected would happen this time? Ling Xing'ong and the experts accompanying him were ambushed by a group of outsiders. Other than a Dao master who escaped with his life, Ling Xingong and the rest were all killed and devoured by the outsiders. The Thousand Gate? The young master of the Xian World Ling clan died, just like that. That Ling Xingong is too unlucky. Su Fong was surprised when he heard the cause of Ling Xingang's death. He didn't expect the Purple Fate Avatar's ability to devour Providence to be so shocking. When he was in the Heavenly Luck Cave, the Purple Fate Avatar was still in its embryonic form. Devouring Ling Xingang's Providence had caused him to end up like this. The Pang Clan Patriarch's image stared at Su Fong. Young Master Su Fong, you must be careful. There's news that Ling Xingang's brother, Ling Xingchun, has been instigated by Feng Jinhua to come to the Fire Luo Xian world for you. Who was Ling Xingchun? He was a special disciple of the three supreme profound sects and a peerless genius ranked in the top 1,000 on the heavenly ranking. A genius on the heavenly ranking was no ordinary person. The heavenly profound ranking was a ranking for the geniuses below the Tao Lord level in the Jiuquan God domain. In the entire Jiuquan, how many geniuses were there, other than his identity as a special disciple of the three highest mysterious sects? Being ranked within the top 1,000 of the heavenly profound ranking was enough for Ling Xingchen to look down on most of the peerless geniuses in the Jiuquan divine domain. Ling Xingchen is a big problem. Su Fong's brows furrowed tightly as he felt an immense pressure. Ling Xingchen wasn't the only one in trouble. Now that Feng Jinhua had escaped, the Feng clan and Dong Xianzheng would definitely not stay idle. They were probably on their way to the Fire Luo mystical world. Xian Guiming's death was a mystery. Naturally, the Xian clan wanted to get to the bottom of this. Even the Fire Luo profound world's #1 celestial race, the Chun clan, would not easily let go of what happened in the Heavenly Fortune Cave. These were all big problems. Su Fong also understood the Pang clan leader's intention. He asked, Lord Clan Leader, do you want me to leave the Pang clan? The Pang clan leader looked apologetic. He nodded and said, the situation is very unfavorable for young Master Su Fong. The Pang clan can't protect young Master Su Fong. It's better for you to leave as soon as possible. Su Fong thought for a moment and said, it's good for me to leave. After entering the Tao Saint Divine Tomb, I will leave the Pang clan. I won't implicate the Pang clan. The Pang clan leader didn't expect Su Fong to still want to go to the Tao Saint Divine Tomb. He advised, this time, the Pang clan and the Xian clan are working together to enter the Tao Saint Divine Tomb. Apart from the dangers inside the tomb, the Xian clan won't let you go. The Xian clan was indeed a big problem. However, Su Fong was unwilling to give up the chance to enter the Tao Saint Divine Tomb. Moreover, Su Fong had just cultivated the Purple Fate Dharma body and the life-pulling Karma thread, a supreme destiny superpower that came from the life-shrinking technique. He was full of confidence and naturally wouldn't give up the chance to search for treasures. After thinking for a long time, Su Fong finally said with certainty, as long as the Pang clan takes me into the Tao Saint Divine Tomb, I will be responsible for my own safety. I hope that Lord Patriarch will grant my wish. I, Su Fong, will forever remember this favor of the Pang clan. Seeing Su Fong so confident, the Pang clan leader didn't try to persuade him anymore. He nodded and said, in that case, it's up to you. Young Master Su Fong, get ready. Tomorrow, we will leave the Fire Net mystic world and go to the 6 Extreme Tao Saint Divine Tomb. The next day, Su Fong came to the square at the peak of the Pang clan's secret realm. He boarded a fire cloud chariot with more than 300 other Pang clan cultivators and left the Pang clan's secret realm. They passed through the boundary of the Fire Net mystic world and entered the chaotic void. There were only 200 people who entered the Tao Saint Divine Tomb to search for treasures. The other 100 or so Pang clan cultivators were there to protect the 200 Pang clan cultivators. Those who could enter the Tao Saint Divine Tomb must have a cultivation level below that of a Tao Lord. Therefore, these 200 cultivators were the elites carefully selected by the Pang clan. They were the future of the Pang clan. This included the Pang clan's young master Pang Yin, Ms. Pang Pang, all the special disciples, and many outstanding core disciples. Crossing the chaotic void to the sixth extreme Tao, Saint Divine Tomb, the journey was full of danger. In addition, the Pang clan didn't dare to be careless. This time, almost all of the clan's experts came. QL-11, the fire cloud chariot that the Pang clan cultivators rode, was a supreme treasure of the Pang clan. It was considered a powerful treasure in the Jiuquan divine realm. Not only was the fire cloud chariot fast, but it also had a powerful offensive ability. The chariot flew in the cold, chaotic void. One could only see a flash of fire as it crossed an endless distance in the blink of an eye. Its speed was almost beyond a cultivator's sensing ability. It was Su Fang's first time crossing the chaotic void. Along the way, he used his sensing ability to sense the situation outside the fire cloud chariot. The chaotic void looked empty, but in reality, it was filled with danger. There were many naturally formed black holes, natural moats, and some collapsed areas caused by the chaos of the void. There were also naturally precipitated materials that gathered to form torrents of meteorites and sandstorms. These weren't the most dangerous things. After all, the Pang clan had been to the sixth extreme Tao, Saint Divine Tomb, many times. They were familiar with the dangerous areas on the way and could avoid them in advance. The most dangerous things were the powerful and strange creatures and alien races that lived in the chaotic void. Along the way, the fire cloud chariot encountered countless sneak attacks from alien races. Su Fang saw with his own eyes that countless white-furred bats were swarming towards the fire cloud war chariot like a tide. They were like a boundless ocean, constantly spraying corrosive venom and nearly swallowing the war chariot whole. Another time, a huge blood-red vine suddenly stretched out from the void. The vine was thousands of feet thick and long. It wrapped around the fire cloud chariot and almost dragged the chariot into the void. In the end, a peerless expert of the Pang clan who had surpassed the Tao Lord level had to cut off the countless tentacles of the vine to escape. They also encountered a group of alien races with human heads and crocodiles. They were the evil alien race of the chaotic void, the crocodile god race. Not only were they ferocious, but their offensive and defensive abilities were also extremely strong. Under the frenzied attacks of these monsters, the fire cloud chariot also suffered great damage. In the end, the chariot unleashed the power of fire and burned a dozen monsters to escape. The most dangerous thing was that when the fire cloud chariot was flying, a huge human face suddenly appeared in the chaotic void. It opened its mouth and let out a void sound wave, causing the chaotic void to tremble violently. The fire cloud chariot was sent flying. The Tao Lord cultivator inside was instantly knocked unconscious. The other cultivators were also shaken to the point of fainting. They lost their Tao hearts and wills. In the end, the peerless expert who had surpassed the Tao Lord level had to detonate a supreme-grade Xian Bao to shatter the human face. The fire cloud chariot took the opportunity to escape. The human face was a chaotic monster, the most terrifying existence in the chaotic void. Even the most evil and ferocious alien races had to flee. Su Fang saw the danger in the depths of the chaotic void and couldn't help but be shocked. This is the true face of the chaotic void. In the Jiuquan Tao Palace, Shi Xian Daozu said slowly, "No one knows how big the chaotic void is, nor how long it has existed. It is boundless and has no beginning and no end. In comparison, humans have been born for a very short time. They are insignificant and weak like dust. The mystic worlds that humans have settled down in are just isolated islands in the vast chaotic void. There are countless powerful races living in the chaotic void. It is extremely difficult for humans to survive. After countless experts continuously opened up new territories, humans gradually gained a foothold in the chaotic void. Generations of human cultivators sacrificed countless people to gradually change the fate of the human race. It is because of these people's sacrifice that the Jiuquan God realm is in its current state. What you saw in the mystic worlds is that the battles between human cultivators are nothing. They're always controlled within a certain range. Humanity's true enemy is the alien races and the boundless chaos. Su Fong, work hard. You have talent, a tenacious Tao heart, and ambition. You can change the fate of yourself, your family, and your friends, but this is far from enough. Your own fate is closely linked to the fate of the entire Joshuan God realm. This is something that no one can change. Cultivators defy the heavens to change their fate. What they change is not only their own fate, but the fate of the entire human race. Shi Xian Daozu's words caused Su Fong to sink into a long period of silence. The fire cloud war chariots sped through the chaos. After about 1,000 years, they finally arrived outside a spatial vortex. Everyone, leave the fire cloud war chariot. The Grand Elder of the Pang clan spoke in a majestic voice that reached the ears of everyone inside the fire cloud war chariot. We're finally here. Su Fong's spirits were lifted. Next, an array formation's divine aura enveloped Su Fong, sweeping him out of the array formation and into the primal chaos void. Icy and vast shackles surged from all around, instantly enveloping Su Fong. Su Fong's body swayed for a moment before returning to normal. With his current strength, the shackles of the chaotic void were no longer a threat to him. Chapter 26:54. He looked in that direction. Thousands of miles away, in the void and dark chaos, there was a faint glow. It trembled slightly, like the ripples of a lake. It looked beautiful. QL11, however, upon closer inspection, Su Fong found some clues and was shocked. It turned out to be an invisible spatial vortex. As the void was distorted, the glow it emitted seemed beautiful, but was actually extremely dangerous. The vortex was so huge that Su Fong could only see the tip of the iceberg. The depths of the spatial vortex is an independent space and time. The divine tomb of the Tao, Saint, is in that independent space. Listen to my orders later. When you enter the spatial vortex, you're not allowed to use magic power or use your Shinbao. You can only let the vortex suck you into the independent space. Otherwise, the slightest energy fluctuation will cause the space to tremble and your life will be in danger. The leading Grand Elder of the Pang clan transmitted his divine consciousness to the minds of every Pang clan cultivator. The Pang clan cultivators who had entered the divine tomb of the Tao Saint before did not change their expressions. However, there was fear in their eyes. It was obvious that their previous experience was still fresh in their minds. Those who had entered the tomb for the first time were pale with fright. In such a terrifying spatial vortex, they couldn't use any defense. They could only use their physical bodies to withstand the pressure of the spatial vortex. That required an extraordinary Tao heart and will. Su Fong thought to himself, the Pang clan allowed so many juniors to enter the divine tomb not only to search for treasures, but also to train them. These young cultivators of the Pang clan are all extraordinarily talented. However, they have not seen the world and will not be able to grow into true experts. Let's go. The Grand Elder of the Pang clan shouted and was about to lead the Pang clan cultivators into the spatial vortex. After flying for a short distance, the Grand Elder of the Pang clan suddenly stopped and shouted, "All of you stop!" The Pang clan cultivators did not understand and were all nervous. They waited in the chaotic void for 3 days. A huge bubble-like substance was slowly drifting toward the vortex from the left side under the suction of the vortex. Su Fong looked at it carefully. Suddenly, his divine light changed. It wasn't a bubble, but a water-type universe. That heaven and earth universe was obviously of a higher level than the Pan-Song universe. However, the will of the heavenly Tao had already died. It was likely that its master had perished, leaving behind only the heaven and earth universe. It wouldn't take long for it to shatter. Su Fong's sensing ability penetrated the boundary of the water-type universe and saw a vast and boundless ocean inside. It was a world of water. In this world, there were countless living beings, including humans and Big Goblin. However, They were clearly different from normal humans. The people in the water-type universe obviously didn't know that they were in danger of being destroyed. Everything seemed normal. The huge bubble was sucked into the spatial vortex, and soon it began to deform under the astonishing power of the spatial distortion, and finally it shattered. The heavenly axiom of the water-type universe instantly shattered. Energy, matter, and countless lives were exposed to the spatial vortex. Rumbling sounds of shattering could be heard as countless humans and big goblins screamed in despair. 10 breaths later, everything in the water-type universe disappeared in the space vortex, leaving only ripples in the space vortex. These unlucky low-level existences, they're just ants. So what if they die? The cultivators of the Pang clan pointed at the spatial vortex that swallowed the heaven and earth universe, chatting and laughing. Su Fang's face was pale, and his body was trembling. If one day I unfortunately die, my heaven and earth universe will end up like the water-type universe. My family, friends, and countless lives in the heaven and earth universe won't be able to escape misfortune. I won't allow that to happen to me. I want to become stronger quickly. I want to control the fate of my family, friends, and myself. Su Fang clenched his fists, and his eyes became extremely determined. When the ripples in the space vortex calmed down, the great elder of the Pang clan led the cultivators of the Pang clan into the area covered by the spatial vortex. As soon as they entered the spatial vortex, the terrifying power of spatial distortion immediately enveloped them. No one dared to use defense or release their Dharma bodies. They could only use their physical bodies to resist the power of spatial distortion. Su Fang had a perfected physical body. Although the pressure of spatial distortion was terrifying, it could not hurt him. Most of the cultivators of the Pang clan were above the Tao Lord realm. Their physical bodies were also extraordinary, and they were not afraid of spatial distortion. Only a small number of Tao True Realm cultivators suffered significant injuries under the spatial pressure. They could only go with the flow and be attracted by the spatial vortex, flying into the depths of the vortex. About a month later, the cultivators sank deeper and deeper, and their speed became faster and faster. The surrounding pressure also became more and more shocking. A cultivator of the Pang clan, not far from Su Fang, was not weak. He had reached the middle stage of the Tao Lord realm. Under the spatial pressure, his physical body was not seriously injured, but his Tao heart and will collapsed. In a panic, he activated his armor to defend himself. As a result, the space trembled and hit him. The armor shattered instantly, and his physical body was also shattered. He died on the spot. The space rippled and spread, hitting Su Fang. Puff! Su Fang spat out a mouthful of blood essence. His physical body became a bloody mess, and even his bones could be seen in some places. However, his eyes were unusually calm. At a time like this, the slightest mistake could be fatal. The cultivators of the Pang clan were all frightened when they saw this scene. At the same time, they admired Su Fang. Even the eyes of the Pang clan's grand elder were full of praise. To be able to remain so calm in such a critical moment, it was enough to show how terrifying Su Fang's Tao heart and will was. This child has a calm heart that can remain calm even if the world collapses in front of him. It's a pity that he is not from the Pang clan. Otherwise, in time, our clan will have another peerless expert. It's a pity that this child has entered the divine tomb of the Tao Saint this time. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to survive. The grand elder of the Pang clan felt pity. It turned out that before they left, the Pang clan leader had specially instructed that if Su Fang was pursued by the Xian clan in the divine tomb, the Pang clan was not to interfere. Although the Pang clan and the Xian clan had conflicts, the two clans were working together to explore the divine tomb of the sixth extreme Tao Saint. Su Fang was an outsider, and the Pang clan could not sacrifice their own interests and fall out with the Xian clan for Su Fang. It was Su Fang's first time entering the divine tomb. Needless to say, there were many dangers in there. If he was pursued by the Xian clan, how could he survive? Whoosh! Everyone was sucked into the depths of the whirlpool. After a moment of dizziness, They disappeared from the depths of the whirlpool. Su Fong felt that his physical body, Dao Palace, and even his soul were being torn apart. It was as if he had gone through a cycle of life and death. Suddenly, his body felt heavy, and then he fell heavily. Just when Su Fong thought that he was going to fall to his death, a burst of divine might wrapped around his body and brought him to a steady stop. He regained control of his body. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he had left the spatial whirlpool and arrived in an independent space-time. The space was like a huge tomb. The aura in the space was suffocating. There was haze everywhere, and there were floating physical ruins. Compared to the mystic world, the shackles in the space were shocking. However, it was still bearable for cultivators. The aura in the space was deathly still. There was no spiritual chi or power of the world. It was similar to the chaotic void. Su Fong projected his sensing ability and tried to sense the location of the divine tomb of the sixth extreme Dao Saint. However, it was difficult to find anything. This space-time was too big, and Su Fong's sensing ability could not cover it. More than 300 cultivators of the Pang clan passed through the spatial whirlpool and arrived in this independent space-time. The great elder of the Pang clan let everyone rest in the physical ruins for 3 years. Then, he led everyone into the depths of the space-time. Along the way, it seemed very peaceful and there was no danger. However, the great elder of the Pang clan and some of the other cultivators of the Pang clan who had been here before felt as if they were facing a great enemy. They constantly sensed their surroundings. After passing through an area filled with dust and haze, a green ball of light covered by a barrier appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The ball of light was about 10 feet in size. The barrier on the outside seemed to be formed naturally. Through the barrier, they could feel that it was filled with a shocking amount of what elemental essence and power of the world. Inside the ball of light, there was a small piece of material. There was a green spiritual medicine growing on it. There is such an amazing spiritual medicine in such a desolate outer space of the divine tomb. Su Fong was surprised and shocked. The great elder of the Pang clan was overjoyed. Oh, there's a consciousness floating out from the divine tomb. It is a good sign that our clan has encountered it. This time, our clan will definitely have a great harvest after entering the divine tomb of the Dao Saint. Young Miss Pang, what is that? Su Fong curiously transmitted his thoughts to young Miss Pang in the distance. Young Miss Pang gave Su Fong a simple explanation. She looked a little impatient. It turned out that the green ball of light was the consciousness floating out from the divine tomb after the sixth extreme Dao Saint had died. A Dao Saint expert had far surpassed the level of Dharma creation and world creation. Every single thought was extremely precious. It might contain the essence of the heavenly Dao, or it might be the condensation of supreme Dharma powers. There were also substances and spiritual objects formed by the consciousness. The reason why the sixth extreme Dao Saint was called sixth extreme was because he was extremely talented. He had the 6 avatars of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and lightning. Furthermore, he had cultivated each of his avatars to the extreme. That was why he was called sixth extreme. For example, the consciousness that they saw now was formed by the essence of the wood elemental Dao of the sixth extreme Dao Saint. After countless years of accumulation and self-evolution, it had turned into spiritual objects. If they were taken outside, they would be comparable to a high-grade Xianbao. This was just a fragmented consciousness floating out from the divine tomb when the barrier inside the divine tomb was broken. In the divine tomb of the sixth extreme Dao Saint, there were many such thoughts. However, it would take a lot of effort and a lot of danger to obtain them. Chapter 2655. The Grand Elder of the Pang clan personally took the spiritual medicine from the divine tomb of the Dao Saint. It was a good sign that they had such a great harvest before even entering the divine tomb. All the cultivators of the Pang clan were in high spirits. They continued to fly deeper into the space. They were not as lucky as before and did not encounter any treasures formed by the Dao Saint's thoughts. However, they did not encounter any danger, so the cultivators of the Pang clan relaxed. Another 5 years passed. A thick cloud of dust floated in front of them. QL11, they did not know what the dust was. It covered a huge area, and they could not see the end of it. It was difficult to go around it. The dust was very strange. Not only did it have the ability to blind their senses, but it also kept drilling into the bodies of the cultivators of the Pang clan and devouring their life force. Be careful. This is the resentment and evil chi formed by the 6 extreme Tao saint's thoughts when he was alive. It overflows from the divine tomb and can devour life force and affect one's Tao heart. The most dangerous thing is not this. There is a terrifying evil hidden in the dust. It is called evil and can release curse-like thought attacks. It is impossible to guard against. The Grand Elder of the Pang clan reminded everyone loudly. Evil? Su Fong was stunned. It was the first time he had heard of such a strange evil being. It was strange that it could release thought attacks. Cultivators had emotions and desires, and Tao saints were no exception. However, these cultivators had strong Tao hearts and were able to eliminate and suppress some of the distracting thoughts. However, before these cultivators died, they could not help but develop resentment and evil chi. It was like the thought that could give birth to spiritual beings. Some terrifying evil beings were born from it. This was the evil. Everyone was nervous. They used their divine powers or activated their Xian Bao to defend themselves. They flew carefully in the dust. Ah! A shrill scream came from the group of cultivators of the Pang clan. As the dust swirled, a cultivator seemed to have been grabbed by an invisible hand. His life force was being devoured by the dust around him. His entire body visibly aged. Then, his body dried up and quickly turned into white bones. In less than 5 breaths of time, the cultivator turned into a pile of ash particles and blended into the surrounding dust. All the cultivators of the Pang clan gasped, especially those who had entered the outer area of the Tao Saint Divine Tomb for the first time. They were all trembling in fear. Su Fong was also trembling with fear. That evil was truly terrifying. It could actually use the strange dust to hide its presence and tracks. Even the great elder of the Pang clan could not sense its existence. Moreover, their attacks were strange and powerful, making it impossible to guard against. In the past, the cultivators of the Pang clan had encountered calamity evil before. Because they were unable to capture its aura, and because the evil thought attacks were impossible to guard against, the only way was to pass through this area as quickly as possible. Get out of here quickly! The Pang clan's great elder let out a thunderous roar. Swish! Swish! The great elder of the Pang tribe was really powerful. He released hundreds of thoughts at once. They turned into fireballs and floated above everyone's heads. They released amazing fire elemental Taoist rhymes and enveloped all the cultivators of the Pang tribe. Under the protection of the great elder's thoughts, the cultivators of the Pang tribe sped up and flew forward. Su Fong was also on high alert. He secretly merged his purple fate Dharma body with his physical body. At the same time, he was preparing the Yang transformation technique, the true eye of incineration. One of the abilities of the purple fate Dharma body was to dissolve evil curses. The true eye of incineration was a thought attack. It contained the Xianyang divine power and had the ability to restrain all evil existences. Su Fong was not confident that he could withstand the evil's sneak attack. The evil hidden in the dust was really strange. It continued to launch sneak attacks on the cultivators of the Pang clan. The great elder's thoughts could only barely dissolve the evil's thought attack and save more than 10 cultivators. However, 5 of the cultivators of the Pang clan died, and their life force was devoured. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Without warning, Su Fong's Jiushuan Dao Palace flashed with the Heavenly Secret Life shrinking technique. The Heavenly Secret Scripture also flashed with it, indicating that great danger was approaching. However, there was no time to react. Poof! Su Fong felt a formless evil aura hit the back of his head. In an instant, it rushed into the Jiushuan Dao Palace and enveloped his body. Boom! The purple fate Dharma body suddenly exploded with a surge of unparalleled fate. Like a hurricane, it shattered the evil aura into pieces. My purple fate Dharma body is indeed useful against evil curses, the true eye of incineration. Su Fong was surprised and delighted. His gaze fell into the depths of dust. Suddenly, an illusory red light shot out from his eyes. With the help of the heavenly secret life shrinking technique, Su Fong sensed the source of the evil aura. Without hesitation, he used the true eye of incineration. Hiss! A scream that only the primordial spirit could hear came from the depths of the dust. It attacked the primordial spirits and Taoist hearts of many cultivators, causing them to sway. Su Fong's true eye of incineration contained the true will of Xianyang, as well as Su Fong's primordial spirit and Taoist heart. It could destroy all evil and incinerate all thoughts. The evil spirit hidden in the dust was caught off guard by Su Fong's true eye of incineration. It suffered a great loss and was severely injured. "I've finally found you." The Pang tribe's Grand Elder could finally sense the existence of the monster. He roared angrily. A thought turned into a flame that flashed out from between his eyebrows and disappeared into the dust. The terrifying scream sounded again and soon faded into the distance. The evil spirit had been injured by Su Fong's true eye of incineration. Then, it had been attacked by the thought of a peerless expert who had surpassed the Taoist master. Even if it did not die, it would be severely injured. It would not be able to come out and harm others again. Everyone looked at Su Fong, their eyes full of respect and gratitude. If Su Fong had not discovered the monster's hiding place, the Pang tribe's Grand Elder would not have been able to do anything to the monster despite his powerful strength. Who knew how many people would have died? Su Fong had been attacked by the monster. Not only was he unscathed, but he had also sensed the monster's presence. Moreover, he was only at the lower Taoist realm. Yet, he was able to release a shocking thought attack, which shocked many of the Pang tribe's cultivators. "Young Master Su Fong, thank you." The Pang tribe's Grand Elder nodded and thanked Su Fong. "I was just lucky." Su Fong wiped the sweat from his forehead and smiled embarrassedly. It was as if he had really discovered the evil spirit by luck. "This person is really extraordinary." The Pang tribe's Grand Elder looked at Su Fong meaningfully. Then, he quickly led the group away from the terrifying dust floating area. Another dozen years passed. The group finally arrived at the divine tomb of the sixth extreme Taoist saint. A hill that spanned 100 miles floated in the void. The hill was covered in wondrous rocks and verdant ancient trees. It was actually a beautiful and charming scene, and it caused one to be unable to associate it with the divine tomb of a supreme expert. The Pang tribe's Grand Elder led the Pang tribe's cultivators to the top of the hill and landed on the square. The square at the top of the hill was paved with white jade. In the middle of the square, there was a white jade statue that was 10 feet tall. It was a majestic middle-aged man with a square face, sword-like eyebrows, and starry eyes. His hair was loose, and he was not tall. However, he exuded the aura of a supreme ruler and a wild and unruly aura. Although it was just a statue, the Pang tribe's cultivators could not help but tremble when they saw it. They could not help but want to kneel before the statue. Su Fong's divine light swept across the statue. He found that the lifelike statue was densely covered with mysterious and profound marks. They intertwined to form a huge defensive boundary that covered the entire statue. He secretly sent a thought to Miss Pang. "This person is the sixth extreme Taoist saint. The space inside the hill should be the tomb of the Tao saint. I just don't know how to enter it." "That's right. This is the sixth extreme Taoist saint. His tomb is not inside the hill. It is inside the statue. It is also not a statue. It is the Dharma body of the sixth extreme Taoist saint. The statue was formed after he passed away." Miss Pang replied. Su Fong was shocked. "That statue is formed by the Tao saint's Dharma body? Unbelievable." Su Fong had thought that the statue was just a decoration. The real tomb was inside the hill. He did not expect that the statue was formed by the sixth extreme Taoist saint's Dharma body. The Pang tribe and Xian tribe spent a lot of effort to discover the secret of this statue. Inside the 6 extreme Taoist saint's Dharma body, there are treasures that he collected when he was alive. In his Tao palace, there are many remnant thoughts. These are all precious treasures. There is only one passage in between the eyebrows to enter the Dharma body. The strong cultivators of the Pang tribe and Xian tribe searched many times and found that the seal of the passage would loosen every million years. Then, the strong cultivators of the two tribes worked together to create a seal on the passage. Only when the strong cultivators of the two tribes worked together could they break the seal and open a passage into the space inside the Dharma body. Although the Tao Saints' thoughts inside the Dharma body have lost their consciousness, they are still very active. Not only are they difficult to capture, but they are also very dangerous. Cultivators who enter may die if they are not careful. Fortunately, these thoughts will be dormant for a few years every million years. Only then can we enter to search for treasures. What's strange is that cultivators above the Taoist Lord realm will encounter shocking shackles and many unexpected disasters after entering the Dharma body. In the past, only Taoist lords and Taoist truth realm cultivators could come out alive after entering the Dharma body. The cultivators above that level, including a cultivator above the Taoist Lord realm from the Xian clan, never returned after entering. Ever since she learned that Su Fong had offended the peerless genius of the Eastern Profound Pavilion and Ling Xingqian of the 3 highest profound sects, Miss Pang, who used to hang around Su Fong, quickly distanced herself from Su Fong as if she was avoiding snakes and scorpions. When Su Fong had discovered Xie, Miss Pang's attitude towards Su Fong changed a lot. She told Su Fong everything she knew. The secrets of the Tao Saint Divine Tomb were far more than what the Pang tribe's leader had told Su Fong before. The Pang tribe's grand elder had led many cultivators to wait for the Xian tribe cultivators on the square. They had waited for 10 years. For some reason, the Xian tribe cultivators had arrived late this time. The Xian tribe cultivators are finally here. Why did they bring a few outsiders? The Pang tribe's grand elder, who was sitting cross-legged on the square, suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the void beyond the hill. Su Fong also opened his eyes and raised his eyebrows. Almost 200 cultivators flew toward the Tao Saint Divine Tomb. Not only were there Xian tribe cultivators, but Feng Jinhua was also among them. There were also 5 strong cultivators whose auras were clearly different from those of the Xian tribe. Chapter 2656. Su Fong already knew that Ling Xingqian and the Feng clan would come to Hulua Mystical World. He had planned to leave Hulua Mystical World after entering the 6 extreme Tao Saints' tomb. He didn't expect that. Ling Xingqian and the Feng clan would come so quickly and even come to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' tomb with the Xian clan. Su Fong, leave quickly. I'll hold them off for you for a while. Take the chance to escape. The Pang clan grand elder hurriedly sent a message to Su Fong. Although Su Fong wasn't from the Pang clan, he had come to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' tomb as a cultivator with a different surname. In addition, Su Fong had saved many cultivators from the Pang clan along the way. That was why the Pang clan grand elder decided to protect Su Fong. Escape? How can I escape in the outer space of the Tomb of the Gods? Su Fong smiled bitterly. The Xian clan had a peerless cultivator who had surpassed the Tao Saint level. They might be afraid of the Pang clan and wouldn't attack Su Fong, but how could Ling Xingqian and the Feng clan let Su Fong go? It was obviously impossible to escape, so he could only take one step at a time. Su Fong glanced at the statue of the 6 extreme Tao Saint's celestial body and made up his mind. He might have a chance of survival if he escaped into the internal space of the 6 extreme Tao Saint's celestial body. However, he had to wait for the Pang clan and Xian clan's cultivators to open the seal. If that didn't work, he would have to ask the Shi Xian Daozu to help and use up a chance to save his life. Swoosh! 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 More than 200 cultivators flew over and landed on the square. The first elder of the Pang clan yelled at the leading strong cultivator of the Xian clan, Xian Tianqi, "The Tomb of Tao Saint belongs to both our clans. How dare you bring outsiders here? What is the reason for this?" The Xian clan's leader, Xian Tianqi, was a yellow-haired old man with a black mole between his eyebrows. He wore a cloud robe and had an ethereal aura. He was a peerless cultivator who had surpassed the Tao Lord and looked even more powerful than the Pang clan Grand Elder. Xian Tianqi didn't say anything. A young man in a yellow robe flashed out from his right. He had a strong body and a face that seemed to have been carved with a knife. His features were distinct, and he had a cold temperament. This person was very young and seemed to be around the age of 25 or 26. Surprisingly, his cultivation had arrived at the low level of the Tao Lord realm. Moreover, his domineering aura was actually on par with peak experts at the high level of the Tao Lord realm. He cupped his fists at the Pang clan's great elder. "I am Ling Xingqian." The cultivators of the Xian clan were in an uproar. Even the arrogant young master of the Pang clan, Pang Yin, had a look of awe in his eyes. The Pang clan's great elder snorted. "The three supreme profound sects have boundless power, but they can't control the fire net profound world or my Pang clan, let alone a mere disciple like you." Ling Xingqian waved his hand and a Xian Guang appeared. A jade slip was wrapped in it, and it flew towards the Pang clan's great elder. The latter grabbed the jade slip and deciphered the information in it. Suddenly, the divine light in his eyes changed, and he stopped talking. Su Fang's heart sank. It seemed that Ling Xingqian had come prepared and had persuaded the higher-ups of the Pang clan. Now that he had lost the protection of the Pang clan, he was in danger. "You're Su Fang." Ling Xingqian looked down at Su Fang and spoke coldly. Su Fang nodded. "That's right. I'm Su Fang. How dare you? Young Master Ling is asking you a question. Why aren't you kneeling before him?" Feng Jinhua shouted coldly from behind. His voice rumbled like thunder as it swept towards Su Fang. Boom! A divine aura surged out of Su Fang's body and formed a defense around him. Su Fang's profound Yang Dharma body cultivated the Yang refinement art and had the ability to refine extreme Yang energy. The divine aura of thunder released by Feng Jinhua hit Su Fang's defense and was immediately refined. However, Su Fang was also forced to take 3 steps back. "You're indeed extraordinary. Now I have reason to believe that our clan's genius, Xian Guiming, died at your hands in the Heavenly Fortune Cave," the Xian clan's expert, Xian Tianqi, said majestically. His voice was filled with a fierce, killing intent. Who else could it be in the Heavenly Fortune Cave other than that Aunt Su Fang? Feng Jinhua gritted his teeth. He had paid a huge price to get a chance to enter the Heavenly Fortune Cave. Who would have thought that he would not get anything and almost lose his life in the Heavenly Fortune Cave? He had lost a life-saving talisman for nothing. How could he not be angry? After escaping from the Heavenly Fortune Cave, Feng Jinhua did not even dare to stay in the fire net mystic world. He fled back to the 3 supreme mysterious sects and found out what had happened in the Heavenly Fortune Cave. He also found out that Su Fang was not dead. Thus, he concluded that Su Fang was the one behind it. Therefore, Feng Jinhua brought Ling Xingqian and invited experts from the Feng clan. Only then did he come to the FireNet mystic world to denounce Su Fang. Ling Xingqian stared at Su Fang. "My brother Ling Xingang's tragic death was also caused by you," Xian Tianqi said in a cold and indifferent voice. "Shackle him and search his soul. Then, the truth will be revealed." "That's right. He's just an ant from a low-level universe. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him?" An old man in his 60s beside Feng Jinhua shouted domineeringly. This person was from the Feng clan. His cultivation was even higher than Feng Han's and had reached the peak of the Tao Lord level. Just as they were about to shackle Su Fang, the Pang clan's Grand Elder shouted, "What evidence do you have to say that Su Fang was responsible for the deaths of Xian Guiming and Ling Xingong?" Su Fang is a disciple of the Pang clan with a different surname. Whoever dares to touch him will be an enemy of the Pang clan. Ling Xingqian raised his eyebrows. "Grand Elder Pang, you dare to defy the Pang clan's patriarch's order?" The Pang clan's Grand Elder snorted. "Our patriarch only agreed to let you investigate the Heavenly Fortune Cave. He didn't agree to let you deal with Su Fang. If you dare to attack Su Fang without any evidence, then I won't allow it." Su Fong didn't expect the Pang clan's Grand Elder to be so protective of him. He instantly felt grateful. Who knew? Pang Yin suddenly said. Grand Elder, Su Fong is just an outsider. How can you offend the three supreme mysterious sects, the Xian clan and the Feng clan, for an outsider? Don't forget that Su Fong's enemies aren't just these forces. There's also the Eastern Mysterious Heavenly Pavilion's Daozu. At the mention of the Eastern Mysterious Heavenly Pavilion, the Pang clan's Grand Elder couldn't help but reveal a look of fear and hesitation. At this time, the Xian clan's expert, Xian Tianqi, continued, Grand Elder Pang, as long as you don't interfere in this matter, our clan agrees that the next time we enter the Tao Saint's divine tomb, regardless of whether we win or lose, we'll give 50 spots to the Pang clan. What do you think? 50 spots. The Pang clan's cultivators were all pleasantly surprised. 50 spots meant that in another 1,000,000 years, there would be 50 more opportunities to enter the Tao Saint's divine tomb to search for treasures. For these Pang clan's cultivators, it was an additional opportunity to obtain good fortune. As for the fact that Su Fong had discovered the evil and saved them, what was that compared to good fortune? Moreover, the Pang clan's cultivators all believed that even if Su Fong hadn't discovered the evil and a few more people from the Pang clan died, they definitely wouldn't have died. In the face of such a huge benefit, the little bit of gratitude they had for Su Fong immediately disappeared. The Pang clan's cultivators all left Su Fong's side. The Grand Elder Miss hesitated for a moment before leaving as well. Only Su Fong and the Pang clan's Grand Elder were left. The Pang clan's Grand Elder sighed helplessly. It was not difficult for the Pang clan's higher-ups to decide which was more important between the 50 spots and an outsider like Su Fong. He also couldn't ignore the Pang clan's interests and protect Su Fong. However, he still secretly sent a voice transmission to Su Fong. Su Fong, I can't protect you. I'm sorry, but I'll fight for a chance for you. Later, I'll join forces with Xian Tianqi to open the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body. As long as you can find a way to escape into the Dharma body's internal space, you'll have a chance to escape. Su Fong was stunned for a moment before he replied, Thank you, Grand Elder. In fact, he also understood that Grand Elder Pang had another motive for helping him. The Pang clan had long concluded that there was a peerless expert hidden by Su Fong's side. They just didn't know how strong he was. However, the Pang clan didn't dare to offend the Xian clan, Feng clan, and Ling clan at the same time. They also didn't dare to offend the 3 highest mysterious sects and the East Mysterious Heavenly Pavilion at the same time. Therefore, the Pang clan was able to get benefits for both sides. However, Su Fong was still very grateful to Grand Elder Pang. It wasn't easy for him to get to this point. The Pang clan's Grand Elder said coldly, If that's the case, the Pang clan won't interfere in this matter. Xian Tianqi, let's join forces and quickly open the seal so that the juniors of both clans can enter the Tomb of the Gods to search for treasures. Don't let Su Fong's matter affect the prosperity of both clans. That's right. Xian Tianqi was overjoyed when he saw that Grand Elder Pang had agreed to not interfere in Su Fong's matter. He ignored Su Fong and flew towards the statue with Grand Elder Pang. Ling Xingqian, Feng Jinhua, and the others surrounded Su Fong in the air. They all sneered and looked at Su Fong as if they were looking at a dead man. Su Fong was surrounded and looked like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. After a while, the Pang clan's Grand Elder and Xian Tianqi joined forces to remove the seal between the eyebrows of the 6 Extreme Tao Saint Celestial body. At the same time, they also broke the original seal between the eyebrows. Xian Tianqi shouted at the Xian clan cultivators, Xian clan cultivators, quickly enter. Grand Elder Pang, and I won't be able to hold on for long. According to the agreement between the Pang clan and the Xian clan, the clan with fewer spots would enter the Tomb of the Gods first. This time, the Xian clan only had 100 spots. Naturally, it was their turn to enter first. Swoosh! Swoosh! The 100 Xian clan cultivators couldn't wait to fly into the sky and enter through the formation between the eyebrows. When it was the Pang clan cultivators' turn to enter, Pang Yin suddenly shouted at Su Fong Da, Give me your 6 extreme token. Su Fong raised his eyebrows. What do you want? Every cultivator who entered the Tomb of the Gods had a Xian Bao made by the Pang clan and Xian clan cultivators with a secret technique. It was the 6 extreme token that Pang Yin mentioned. With the power of the Xian Bao, one could resolve many dangers in the Tomb of the Gods. It wasn't easy to make the 6 extreme token. The two clans had only made 300 of them. Before Su Fong came to the Tomb of the 6 extreme Dao, Saint Celestial Body, the Pang clan leader gave him a 6 extreme token. Now, Pang Yin was asking for Su Fong's 6 extreme token. Even if he could escape into the Tomb of the Gods, he would still die. Grand Elder Pang said angrily, Pang Yin, what do you mean? Pang Yin smiled embarrassedly. This ant is already a dead man. What's the use of the 6 extreme token? How can we let a dead man occupy a precious spot in our clan? Chapter 26:57. Adding insult to injury? So what? Pang Yin scoffed at Su Fong's words. Then he said, domineeringly, You're just an ant from a low-level universe. You're just relying on the support of a powerful expert to do whatever you want in the Pang clan. You don't even take me seriously. Now that you've become a drowning dog, if I don't add insult to injury, when will I? The Pang clan's Grand Elder was furious. Pang Yin, you don't even take me seriously? Pang Yin snorted. Grand Elder, I'm doing this to prevent the Pang clan from wasting a spot. At the same time, I want to distance myself from this ant and avoid bringing disaster to my clan. Yet, Grand Elder is protecting him in every way and even wants to leave the 6 extremes token to that ant. I wonder what Grand Elder means by this. Could it be that you have other intentions? Pang Yan's words reminded Ling Xingqian and the others. Feng Zhan's avatar flashed and stood between Su Fong and the statue to prevent Su Fong from escaping into the Dao Saint Divine Tomb. Pang Yin, I, Su Fong, will remember today's grudge. Su Fong swept the 6 extremes token towards the Pang clan's Grand Elder. Pang Yin didn't care about Su Fong's threat. The Feng clan's elder shouted, There's no time to lose. Suppress this brat and search his soul, but don't kill him. We still need to take him to the Eastern Profound Heavenly Pavilion to apologize to young Master Zheng. Su Fong looked at the Feng clan's elder coldly. Didn't Feng Han tell you what kind of disaster you'll bring to the Feng clan if you attack me? The Feng clan's elder sneered disdainfully. You mean that person from Xixian? If you're really related to that person from Xixian, why did you end up in the Eastern Profound Divine Domain and almost become a lowly slave? You're only good at scaring that idiot Feng Han. Feng Han is so useless that he was scared away by a lowly ant from a low-level universe. Ling Xingqian let out a voice that was filled with coldness and desolation. No matter what kind of backing you have caused the death of my younger brother. I will still take your life. Surrender now. I will shatter your Dao heart and will then cripple your Dao palace and strip away your memories. Heavens will heart-shattering sword. Qi, an illusory sword energy shot out from between Ling Xingqian's eyebrows. This sword Qi contained a supreme will of the heavenly Dao that could crush all wills and shatter a cultivator's Dao heart. The 3 supreme mysterious sects had grasped the 3 supreme divine abilities of time, space, and will of the heaven Dao. Their attacks were the most shocking, and they specialized in shattering a cultivator's Dao heart. They were extremely domineering and fierce. The sword Qi moved according to Ling Xingqian's will, and Su Fong had no time to react. He felt as if the heavenly Dao was crushing him, and all he could do was be crushed into powder. Puff! Su Fong felt as if his heart had been pierced by a sharp sword. He felt a sharp pain and almost lost consciousness. Fortunately, Su Fong had the Dao heart of Rainbow Jade. After being struck by Ling Xingqian's Dao heart, his Dao heart was only shaken, but it was not shattered. Su Fong staggered and endured the pain. The flame-treading boots on his feet were activated, and with a loud bang, the huge recoil propelled him out like a cannonball. Yeah, you were actually able to endure my heart-shattering sword. I underestimated you, Ant. Your Dao heart is actually so strong. Ling Xingqian's eyes flashed with surprise. How shocking were the divine abilities of the three supreme mysterious sects. Moreover, Ling Xingqian was a Tao Lord, and his true strength was comparable to a peak Tao Lord. So, Su Fong was actually unharmed when he executed the supreme divine abilities of the three supreme mysterious sects. It wasn't just Ling Xingqian, even the experts of the Feng clan, Xin Tianqi, and Elder Pang weren't surprised. Wouldn't it be a huge joke if an ant like you were to escape from me? Feng Jinhua flashed and blocked Su Fong's path, and he laughed coldly with a savage expression on his face. Ling Xingqian was an extremely proud person, so he didn't continue attacking after his first attack failed. The experts of the Feng clan didn't have any intention to attack as well. QL11, as far as they were concerned, Su Fong was only an ant at the Tao Lord realm, whereas Feng Jinhua was a peak Tao Lord realm expert. So, how could they not be able to capture Su Fong with ease? The only thing they had to be on guard against was the expert hidden within Su Fong's body. They just had to wait for that expert to make a move, and then they would make a move and suppress that so-called expert. Fuck off. Su Fong roared furiously at Feng Jinhua, and then he pounced towards Feng Jinhua. Die, you ant! Feng Jinhua laughed coldly, and he was about to execute a divine ability to attack Su Fong. Suddenly, Feng Jinhua's gaze became dazed, and he seemed like a puppet that was being controlled. He moved aside obediently and actually allowed Su Fong to pass through with ease. Life's thread of karma. When he was in the cave of heavenly fortune, Su Fong had executed the supreme divine ability, life's thread of karma, and he'd planted karma within Feng Jinhua's destiny. Now, Su Fong had executed the life's thread of karma again, and he'd manipulated one end of the karma thread, causing Feng Jinhua's destiny to be manipulated in an instant, giving Su Fong a chance to live. Whoosh! The moment he surpassed Feng Jinhua, Su Fong instantly turned into a streak of fiery light, and he disappeared in a flash. By the time they saw him, he was already at the entrance of the sixth extreme Tao Saint Avatar's forehead. He was so fast that Ling Xingqian and the experts of the Feng clan couldn't react in time. Burning light escape technique. After all these years of using the Heaven's Divination solution to deduce and repair it, Su Fong had already repaired half of the burning light escape technique. When Su Fong used his full strength, his speed had even surpassed the Tao Lord realm, and he'd reached the shocking height of a Tao Lord. At this moment, most of the Pang clan cultivators had already entered the internal space of the Tao Saint Avatar. Only a dozen cultivators had yet to enter, and Pang Yin was among them. Pang Yin didn't expect Su Fong to be able to break out of the encirclement. He couldn't help but be shocked and angry. He shouted, "Stop right there!" However, Su Fong's burning light escape technique was extremely fast. Just as Pang Yan's eyes caught sight of the fiery light that Su Fong had turned into, Su Fong had already flashed past him. He was about to enter the array formation passage at the Tao Saint Avatar's forehead. The expert of the Xin clan, Xin Tianqi, suddenly attacked. A thought turned into a cloud and quickly swept towards Su Fong. Once Su Fong was trapped by the thought, he would be lost in it, and it would be almost impossible for him to escape. Boom! A streak of fiery light flashed and instantly turned into flames, incinerating Xin Tianqi's thought. Hence, an earth-shattering explosion occurred, and the impact swept out in all directions. Su Fong borrowed the impact of the impact and flashed into the array formation passage, disappearing without a trace. Xin Tianqi was furious. "You dare to stop me?" The great elder of the Pang clan chuckled. "No other reason. I'm just itching to spar with you. Can't I?" Although Xin Tianqi was filled with anger, he couldn't do anything to the great elder of the Pang clan. Both of them were peerless experts of the same level. If they really fought, it would be earth-shattering. Moreover, the purpose of coming to the Tao Saint Divine Tomb this time was to search for treasures. Su Fong was secondary. Ling Xingqian and the experts of the Feng clan were surprised that Su Fong had escaped, especially Feng Jinhua. He still looked confused and didn't understand what had happened. Su Fong's divine powers are strange. He must have many secrets on him. This time, We can't let him escape no matter what. Ling Xingqian's eyes were cold. The elder of the Feng clan snorted coldly. He doesn't have the 6 extremes token. Even if he escapes into the Dao, Saint Divine Tomb, only death awaits him. Master Ling wants to catch him, but I'm afraid you'll fail. Even if he doesn't have the 6 extremes token, can't he take it from the Pang clan and Xian clan cultivators? I'll wait here. When he comes out, I'll suppress him. If he dies, I want to see his corpse. Ling Xingqian sat cross-legged on the square. At this time, Pang Yin transmitted his primordial spirit to Ling Xingqian. Master Ling, don't worry. I'll enter the Dao Saint Divine Tomb now. Even if I can't catch Su Fong alive, I'll bring his corpse out and hand it to you. Whoosh! Su Fong flashed into the array passage. Shocking shackles surged from all directions, forcing him to return to normal from his fiery state. Then he was swept up by the twisting space and sucked into the inner space of the 6 extremes Dao Saint's body. All he could see was endless yellow sand. The inner space was filled with shocking earth, elemental power of nature, and power of the world. There is also a unique earth elemental Taoist rhyme. He didn't expect the inner space of the 6 extremes Dao Saint's body to be an earth elemental world. Su Fong sensed it carefully and found that the shackles and oppression in this world were extremely shocking. There was also a thick qi of death. There was also a strange power that wanted to assimilate Su Fong's aura with the entire Yellow Sand world. It wanted to make him become a part of the world and die with the world. After the 6 extremes Dao Saint died, the inner space of the Dao Saint's body would gradually die as well. It formed a will of death that no one could reverse. The 6 extremes Dao Saint has the 6 extremes body of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and lightning. The space I'm in now should be the inner space of the 6 extremes Dao Saint's earth elemental body. Su Fong speculated and frowned. The 6 extremes token created by the Pang clan and Xian clan was the Xian Bao that was used to resist the death of the Dao Saint's body. Su Fong didn't have a 6 extremes token. This meant that he would be devoured by the will and power of the world's death soon. Kaboom! From the right, there was a faint sound of an explosion. Su Fong projected his sensing ability and the heavenly secret life shrinking technique. In the inner space of the 6 extremes Dao Saint's earth elemental body, the sensing range was very limited. However, with Su Fong's extraordinary sensing ability and the heavenly secret life shrinking technique's ability to sense the qi of fate, he could still sense life forms within 100 miles. He immediately sensed that there was a cultivator fighting with a monster that was 1,000 feet tall, about 70 to 80 miles away. The monster's body was completely formed from yellow sand, and it was incredibly powerful. In addition, it was capable of constantly transforming its body between sand and stone, making it so that even an advanced Dao Lord who was battling it was actually unable to kill it. It's a cultivator from the Pang clan. No matter which clan he is from, I'll get the 6 extremes token first. Su Fong's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He passed through the yellow sand and went straight for the Pang clan cultivator. When he was about a dozen miles away from the Pang clan cultivator, Su Fong suddenly stopped. He used the heavenly secret life shrinking technique to conceal his life force. It turned out that Su Fong had sensed that there was a cultivator hiding in the yellow sand. Judging from his aura and robes, he was a mid-level Dao Lord cultivator from the Xian clan. He was hiding in the yellow sand. Obviously, he wanted to be the Oriole behind. Chapter 2658. 6 hours later, the Pang clan cultivator finally killed the yellow sand monster with all his might. The yellow sand monster's body collapsed, and a yellow gem fell out. The Pang clan cultivator caught it in his hand. The yellow sand monster was a monster born after the death of the 6 extreme Dao sage. The essence of the earth element had settled down for countless years in the space of the 6 extreme Dao sage's earth element body. The gem was the condensation of the yellow sand monster's essence. It was a valuable treasure. With the treasure in his hand, the Pang clan cultivator was overjoyed. Just as he was about to absorb the gem into his body, whoosh, the Xian clan cultivator hidden in the yellow sand suddenly released a thought. It turned into sword energy and attacked, the Pang clan cultivator's Xiantian Dao Palace. After a fierce battle, the Pang clan cultivator was at the end of his rope. He was caught off guard by the Xian clan cultivator's sneak attack. The Dao Palace shook, and the cultivator's soul and Dao heart were all heavily injured by the thought. Whoosh! The Xian clan cultivator unleashed a sharp sword light and crushed the Pang clan cultivator's head to pieces. Stupid pig of the Pang clan. You worked so hard to get this treasure, but in the end, you gave it to me. The Xian clan cultivator smirked and took the gem and the storage ring of the Pang clan cultivator. Little did he know the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. But behind the oriole was Su Fong, the hunter. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as the Xian clan cultivator was feeling smug, scarlet sword energy suddenly swept toward him. Returning origin radiant sword technique. Stop, it's one of us. The Xian clan cultivator saw that the fiery sword chi came from the Xian clan supreme technique. The origin returning great technique, sword technique. Su Fong didn't hide anything. He waved his hand and released a dozen sword energies. They instantly turned into a burning sword formation. As if they had grown wings, they charged toward the Xian clan cultivator. The returning grand radiant sword technique was indeed powerful. Furthermore, Su Fong had fused his profound Yang Daoist rhyme into the sword technique, causing the sword chi to contain a shocking profound Yang true will. Not only was it incomparably sharp, it also contained a shocking profound Yang divine might that could incinerate all things. The cultivator from the Xian clan didn't expect it. It was a supreme technique from the Xian clan. The other party should be from the same clan. Why would he attack a member of the Xian clan? His defense was instantly torn apart by the sword formation. The sharp and scorching sword chi minced and burned his body. His 6 extremities medallion and the robe used to conceal his aura fell out of his incinerated fleshly body. Chi! Chi! A silver figure appeared. It was the Dharma body of the cultivator from the Xian clan. It exploded with sword chi and shattered the sword formation. When the Xian cultivator's avatar was about to escape, Su Fong activated his flame stomp boots. He got close to the Xian cultivator with lightning speed. It's actually you, Su Fong. The Xian cultivator only saw Su Fong now. He was in disbelief. At this moment, Su Fong grabbed the Xian cultivator. A surge of world divine might enveloped the Dharma body. Su Fong had fused the world fragment into his own universe. At this moment, the godly aura of the world was shocking. That Xian clan cultivator was also a top expert among the group of Xian clan cultivators that entered the 6 extreme Dao, Saint Divine Tomb. However, he was trapped in Su Fong's world, and his godly aura couldn't move. Boom! The Xian clan cultivator was smashed into pieces by Su Fong's attack that contained the power of the universe. You think I, Su Fong, am an ant? With my current strength, you Dao Lord are no different from ants. Su Fong smiled domineeringly. He waved his hand and put away the Xian cultivator's storage ring, 6 extremities medallion, and robe. He took a drop of essence blood and sent it into the 6 extremities medallion along with his consciousness. The 6 extremities medallion was refined by the Xian and Pang clan's experts. It was used specifically to enter the Xian Bao inside the 6 extremities Dao, Saint Divine Tomb. It was easy to merge with it. Su Fong used more than 2 hours to merge with the 6 extremities medallion and absorb it into his body. It naturally released a surge of world divine might to defend against the death force that filled the Earth Dharma body's internal space. Su Fong heaved a sigh of relief. With the 6 extremities medallion, he could survive in the 6 extremities Dao, Saint Divine Tomb. There were many pills and resources in the storage rings of the Xian cultivator and the Pang cultivator he killed. All of them were given to Su Fong. However, what Su Fong cared about the most was the robe that could hide his presence and tracks. This was a dark treasure that had attained the peak of the mid-grade. After it was activated, not only was it capable of concealing one's figure, it was even capable of concealing one's aura, unless one executed the life-shrinking art to sense the aura of destiny. Otherwise, it was extremely difficult to be noticed. Su Fong absorbed the robe into the Jiuquan Dao Palace and let his Xian Yang Dharma body merge with it. Taking out the yellow gemstone, Su Fong carefully sensed it. He found that the gemstone contained an astonishing amount of earth essence and origin. It could be used as a godly source to cultivate a Dharma body. Moreover, the godly source's level was not low. It was at least a low-grade profound level. After thinking for a while, Su Fong put the gemstone into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and let his natal magic treasure absorb the earth essence in it. He planned to collect the 6 treasures of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and thunder. He did not want to use them to improve the quality of the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Instead, he wanted to use the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda as the foundation to cultivate a new Dharma body, the Xianhuang Dharma body. After dealing with the treasures, Su Fong swallowed several mid-grade pills and flew into the depths of the Yellow Sand World. Right now, Ling Xingqian and Feng Jinhua were guarding outside the Tomb of the Gods. As soon as Su Fong appeared, he would be suppressed. It was also impossible for him to stay in the space of the 6 extreme Dao Saints' avatar forever. After a few more years, the ownerless consciousness left behind by the 6 extreme Dao Saint would become active. At that time, it would be countless times more dangerous than it was now. Staying in the avatar meant certain death. However, Su Fong had already thought of a way to escape. That was to capture a Xian clan or Pang clan cultivator and use the life-pulling karma line to control them. Then, he would hide inside the Xintian Dao Palace and use the life-shrinking technique to conceal his aura. Then, he would find a way to sneak out. The life-shrinking technique was very powerful. No matter how powerful Ling Xingqian was, he would not be able to see through it. However, this was a rare opportunity. Before he left, Su Fong tried to collect as many treasures as possible to improve his strength. This time, he crossed the chaos and saw the powerful alien races. When he entered the outer space of the Tomb of the Gods, he saw the water world being swallowed by the spatial whirlpool. Now, he was being chased by Ling Xingqian and the Feng clan. Su Fong felt that he was weak and wanted to quickly become stronger. The world of yellow sand was very vast and boundless. Su Fong used the burning light escape technique and flew for more than 10 days, but still could not see the end. This was not strange. The Dao Saint was a supreme existence that surpassed the Dao Lord and was even close to the Dao Zu. The space inside the Dharma body of the 6 extreme Dao Saint was even more vast than a low-level universe. Su Fong was also shackled inside the Earth Dharma body. Although the burning light escape technique was amazing, even if he flew for millions of years in this world of yellow sand, he would still not be able to find the end. 3 months later, Wong. In the vast expanse of yellow sand, a fire cloud tore through the yellow sand at a shocking speed and flew towards Su Fong. At the same time, the life aura in the fire cloud caused the Dao runes of the life shrinking technique to flash rapidly in the Jiuquan Dao Palace. It is that Lady Pang. It seems like she is being chased. The Dao runes condensed into a lifelike figure in the Jiuquan Dao Palace. It was the eldest daughter of the Pang clan, Pang Yu. Swoosh! A ray of sword chi cut through the vast expanse of yellow sand like a river of stars and flew in front of Lady Pang's flying carriage. A silver-robed cultivator's figure appeared from the sword chi. He grabbed out rays of sword chi and turned them into a sword formation that attacked Lady Pang's flying carriage. Under the attack of the sword formation, Lady Pang's flying carriage was forced to stop. However, the defense around the flying carriage did not budge. It was enough to show that the flying carriage's Xian Bao was extraordinary. Swoosh! 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 Another 5 Xian clan cultivators flew in from behind on their swords and surrounded the fire cloud flying carriage. Lady Pang, come out of the flying carriage's Xian Bao obediently and hand over the treasure you got. I won't make things difficult for you. The silver-robed cultivator shouted. Lady Pang's angry voice came from the flying carriage. That Earth Origin stalactite is a supreme spirit item that I worked so hard to get. 3 of my clansmen died for it. How can I hand it over to you, Xian clan? The silver-robed cultivator snorted. Lady Pang, you can't escape now. Is the treasure more important or your life more important? There is no such thing as a young lady in the divine tomb. If you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being merciless. Even if I hand over the earth origin stalactite, will you let me go? Lady Pang sneered. The silver-robed cultivator laughed nastily and said, Since it's like that, then I won't hold back. Young Miss Pang, don't blame me for not knowing how to show mercy to a woman. Once I break through the defense of your dark treasure, I'll properly enjoy your body and let you die happily. The other Xian clan cultivators laughed as well. Their eyes were filled with greed and lust. Lady Pang's thunderous voice came from the flying carriage. You are shameless. I'll give you the earth origin stalactite. I'll remember this. The fiery clouds outside the flying carriage rolled, and Lady Pang's figure appeared. Whoosh, Lady Pang took out a green jade bottle and threw it to the silver-robed cultivator. The silver-robed cultivator caught the jade bottle. After checking it, he was delighted and nodded. Not bad. It's the earth origin stalactite. As expected, of the most precious spirit item in the 6 Extreme Tao's holy earth dharma body. I've got a great fortune this time. Lady Pang gritted her teeth and turned to leave. The silver-robed cultivator suddenly sneered. Did I say you could leave? Lady Pang was furious. What do you want? The silver-robed cultivator laughed and looked at Lady Pang's body greedily. I heard that Lady Pang is a womanizer. Even Ling Xingong and Su Fong are under your skirt. I'm sure Lady Pang won't refuse to have some fun with me this time, right? This Xian clan cultivator was so ruthless. He didn't let go of any treasure or woman. Xian clan, you've gone too far. Lady Pang was shocked and angry. She immediately used her movement technique and tried to escape. QL11, however, she was surrounded by 6 Xian clan cultivators. How could she escape? Chapter 26:59. Trapped in the Xian clan cultivator's shackles, Miss Pang fell into despair. What awaited her was not just humiliation. Those Xian clan cultivators would not leave her alive. Suddenly, Su Fong's voice suddenly rang in Miss Pang's mind. Miss Pang, do you need my help? Su Fong, you entered the Tao Saint Divine Tomb too? Miss Pang was surprised and delighted. QL11, why didn't she need his help? She needed it too much. Like a drowning person suddenly grabbing onto a life-saving straw, she hurriedly begged Su Fong for help. Su Fong, say me quickly. I'll reward you handsomely. Unexpectedly, Su Fong had no intention of saving her. Miss Pang, do you think I'll risk my life to save you from 6 Tao lords for you? Besides, I was betrayed by Pang Yin not long ago. Miss Pang, you also left me without hesitation when you saw me in a tight encirclement. Miss Pang almost fainted from anger. Su Fong's intention could not be more obvious. It was not impossible for him to help her, but she had to give him enough benefits. Damn you, lowly slave. How dare you blackmail me now? If I knew this would happen, I would have suppressed you back in the dark wilderness. Miss Pang wanted to eat Su Fong alive. However, she could only think about it in her heart. She did not dare to say it out loud. She still had to beg Su Fong. If you save me, I'll give you 1,000 mid-grade pills. Miss Pang offered a tempting offer. Su Fong was unmoved. Pills. He had plenty of them. He did not lack any. The earth origin stalactite is yours. If I kill that Xian clan cultivator, the earth origin stalactite will naturally belong to me. If you save me, my flaming cloud flying carriage will be yours. Miss Pang gritted her teeth. She even promised Su Fong her treasure. Although your flaming cloud flying carriage is not bad, it's not enough for me to risk my life for it. What else do you want? That will depend on whether the item you take out is worth the risk of me taking action. Su Fong, you despicable scum. My Pang clan treated you so well. That's the Pang clan, not you, Miss Pang. I, Su Fong, will naturally remember the favor of Lord Patriarch and Great Elder. As for you, Miss Pang, my Su Fong doesn't owe you any favors. On the contrary, you treated me as a slave and even tried to kill me. I haven't settled this debt with you yet. Su Fong, you shameless Chi. Chi. The silver-robed cultivator flicked out streams of sword chi, tearing the flaming Taoist robe on Miss Pang's body to shreds. Instantly, her body was exposed, revealing her hot and alluring body. Then, the silver-robed cultivator waved his hand, and a Xian Guang appeared, enveloping himself and Miss Pang within. Then, he took off his silver robe and pounced like a hungry tiger, pouncing on its prey. Just as Su Fong was considering if he should make a move, Miss Pang suddenly transmitted her thoughts to him. I know a shocking secret regarding the 6 extreme Tao Saint True Body. If you save me, I will tell you this secret. What secret? You save me first? The Xian clan cultivator hugged Miss Pang and licked her face with the tip of his tongue. Su Fong's eyes shot out a fiery light, enveloping the area where the Xian clan cultivator and Miss Pang were. The fiery light twisted and turned into a realistic illusion. What Su Fong was using now was the ability he obtained after devouring the Flaming Dream illusory cloud. He used the Yang refinement mystic art to create a fiery illusion. Swoosh! Swoosh! In the fiery light, more than 10 Pang clan cultivators wearing flaming Taoist robes charged towards the Xian clan cultivators. Damn it! The Xian clan cultivator was at a critical moment. Now that he was interrupted, he was shocked and furious. He let go of Miss Pang and put on his Taoist robes again. He then used his sword formation to sweep away the phantoms of the Pang clan cultivators. Chi! Chi! Those phantoms couldn't withstand a single blow and were crushed into pieces by the sword formation. The 6 Xian clan cultivators were shocked. At this moment, a fiery line shot out from the surrounding fiery light and hit one of the Xian clan cultivators. The low-level Tao Lord cultivator's body was smashed apart, and his avatar was destroyed as well. Su Fong's figure paused and appeared. Then, with a flash, he disappeared without a trace. It's Su Fong. He also entered the tomb of the gods. A Xian clan cultivator exclaimed. Were you afraid of? He's just a low-level Tao truth cultivator. No matter how strong he is, can he kill so many of us? The silver-robed Xian clan cultivator shouted angrily and reprimanded his panicked clansmen. However, before he could finish, Su Fong used the Guiyuan extreme sword technique and activated the true Yang evil slaying sword. With a flash of sword light, another Xian clan cultivator was killed. The Guiyuan extreme sword technique. That's a supreme technique of our clan. Only our special disciples can cultivate it. How can Su Fong use it? Looks like Xian Guiming was killed by him. Even Xian Guiming was killed by him. How can we be his match? The Xian clan cultivators recognized Su Fong's Guiyuan extreme sword technique and fell into a panic. 3 of them fled in fear. Only the silver-robed cultivator was left. He was a ruthless character. He grabbed Miss Pang and wanted to use her as a hostage to threaten Su Fong. Chi! True eyes of extermination. The silver-robed cultivator screamed and staggered. Su Fong attacked again. His heavenly Tao Dharma body released a shocking world god aura that enveloped the silver-robed cultivator and Miss Pang. The silver-robed cultivator's strength was indeed extraordinary. However, he was still far from Xian Guiming. Although Su Fong spent a lot of effort, he still killed him in the end. His Dharma body was destroyed, and his physical body was devoured by the ancestral dragon. The earthly origin stalactite that the silver-robed cultivator took from Miss Pang, as well as his resources and treasures, were all taken by Su Fong. Miss Pang witnessed Su Fong kill an upper Tao lord with her own eyes. Only now did she understand that Su Fong's strength was far greater than before. Back then, Su Fong was a slave that could be bullied by others. He was an insignificant ant. In just a short 1,000 years, Su Fong had become an expert that could suppress Tao lords. Although she was filled with resentment towards Su Fong, she was more in awe of him. You can take out your Xian Bao now and the secrets you know about the 6 extreme Tao saints. Su Fong said indifferently. Miss Pang was still completely naked at this moment, but Su Fong treated it as if it was nothing. This made her feel a burst of anger in her heart, but on the surface, she revealed a flirtatious expression and said coquettishly, "You, how can you be so unromantic?" Su Fang's profound, yang Dharma body and physical body both surged with an evil fire. However, his Tao heart was so strong. How could it be so easily shaken by a woman? He stared coldly at Miss Pang and said in a harsh tone, "Miss Pang, take out your Xian Bao and tell me your secrets before I lose my patience. Otherwise, my methods will be 10 times more ruthless than those Xian clan cultivators." Here, Miss Pang took out a piece of clothing from her storage ring to cover her body. Then, she took out the fire cloud flying carriage and threw it to Su Fang. Su Fang was overjoyed to get a powerful flying Xian Bao. Although the fire cloud flying carriage was not as good as Elder Pang's war chariot Xian Bao, it was a superior Xian Bao. Moreover, it was a flying Xian Bao that Su Fang lacked. With the fire cloud flying carriage, Su Fang had the ability to travel through the chaos alone. Su Fang didn't want to give up. He coldly said, "And the Pang clan's secret regarding the 6 extreme Tao Saint God's tomb. You better not hold anything back. Otherwise, if I find a flaw, I'll search your soul and take your memories." I didn't expect you to be such a cold and heartless person. To think that I've been interested in you all these years. Miss Pang snorted. She had no choice but to tell Su Fang the secrets of the 6 extreme Tao Saints' celestial bodies. It turned out that after so many years of exploration, the Pang clan had found some secrets from the 6 extreme Tao Saints' celestial bodies. Although the 6 extreme Tao Saints had fallen and was in a state of constant dissipation, his celestial bodies still contained many of his ownerless thoughts. The celestial bodies had not completely died. Therefore, the Pang clan came up with an unimaginably bold plan. The plan was simple. They would merge with the great Tao Saint's heart and become the master of the celestial bodies. This way, they would be able to control the 6 extreme Tao Saint's thoughts and even his celestial bodies. It would be like controlling a puppet. It was precisely because of this that the Pang clan was willing to pay any price to win the battle against the Xian clan. They won 200 spots to enter the 6 extreme Great Tao Saint celestial body. Their goal was to help Pang Yin find the location of the Taoist heart in the 6 extreme Great Tao Saint celestial body and then merge with it. Miss Pang's plan shocked Su Fang. The Pang clan's plan was indeed unbelievable. However, after thinking about it carefully, the Pang clan's plan had a chance of success. When one's cultivation reached the level of a great Tao Saint, the great Tao heart was no longer something intangible. Instead, it had merged with the life, origin, and become a physical existence. Su Fang's colorful jade great Tao heart was in such a state. At this moment, the 6 extreme Tao Saint was only an empty shell. He was like a puppet, and his heart was the core that controlled the puppet. As long as the great Tao heart was merged, it meant that one could control the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial bodies. If one can control the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial bodies, it means that one has a great Tao Saint puppet. Even if one can only unleash 1% of the 6 extreme Tao Saint strength, it would be enough to dominate the entire Fire Luo mystical world. Moreover, who knows how many treasures there are inside the 6 extreme Tao Saints' celestial bodies. The Pang clan is really ambitious. After understanding the Pang clan's plan, Su Fang was shocked and amazed. How can we get to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' great Tao heart? Su Fang asked Miss Pang. You also want to get the 6 extreme Tao Saints' celestial bodies? Miss Pang's eyes were filled with disdain. Su Fang said indifferently, "Why? Your Pang clan can get the 6 extreme Tao Saints, but I can't?" Chapter 2660. So the Xian clan was also after the Tao Saint's Dharma body. Miss Pang said, "Also, I once suppressed a Xian clan cultivator and extracted his memories. I learned that the Xian clan only sent out 100 cultivators below the Tao Lord level. But there were actually 3 Tao Lords who used the Xian Bao to hide their auras and suppress their cultivation to sneak into the 6 extreme Tao Saint's Dharma body." Su Fang's brows furrowed. Cultivators who surpass the Tao Lord level will be greatly harmed by the Tao Saint Dharma body's destructive power. Isn't the Xian clan's Tao Lord afraid of losing his life? Compared to obtaining the Tao Saint's Dharma body, what is the death of 3 Tao Lords? Now you should know that the Pang clan and Xian clan are both determined to obtain the 6 extreme Tao Saint's Dharma body. Are you thinking of taking control of the Dharma body from the hands of so many cultivators? Miss Pang looked at Su Fong with eyes full of mockery. Su Fong said coldly, "Whether or not I can obtain the Dharma body is my business. You don't have to worry about it. Just tell me how to get to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Tao heart." Miss Pang snorted. "The method is simple. Even if I tell you, you might not dare to go." It turned out that the Pang clan had already made preparations when they had entered the Tao Saint's celestial body. Previously, the Pang clan had sacrificed the Tao Lord to enter the 6 extreme Tao Saint's Dharma body and found the Tao Saint's heart. They had even created a formation not far from the heart. The Pang clan cultivators who entered the Dharma body would be sent to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Tao Palace and the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body. Before coming to the Tao Saint's tomb, the Pang clan had already made arrangements. The 200 Pang clan cultivators were split into 2 groups. The weaker group would search for treasures in the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Tao Palace and the Dharma body. The strongest 50 or so would head to the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Dharma heart and meet up with Pang Yin. They would help Pang Yin fuse with the Tao Saints' Tao heart and try to control the 6 extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body. Even if they failed this time, they had to be prepared for the next time. The way to get to the location of the 6 extreme Tao Saint heart was actually very simple. The Pang clan's patriarch had personally created a formation in the 6 extremes command. As long as the formation was activated, it would resonate with the formation in the heart of the Pang clan and be teleported there. Miss Pang said, "Even if you obtain the 6 extreme token of our race, you will be able to enter the heart of the 6 extreme Tao Saint through the formation. You will encounter experts like Pang Yin, and how will he let you go? Besides, it's not just our clan. We might encounter the Xian clan as well." After some thought, Su Fong suddenly asked, "You Pang clan cultivators must have a way to communicate with each other, right?" Miss Pang hesitated for a moment before scoffing. "Are you planning to capture the cultivators of my race and control them to bring you to where the 6 extreme Tao Saint heart is? Let me tell you the truth. My tribe is determined to get the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial body. This time, other than the 200 people who entered the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial body on the surface, there are definitely other hidden methods. Even if you go, you will definitely die. You don't have to worry about that, Miss Pang. Since you want to die, I won't dissuade you anymore. As long as the cultivators of my race are within a certain range, they can sense each other's presence through the 6 extremes command. Thank you for telling me the truth, Miss Pang. Goodbye." Su Fong's figure flashed and disappeared into the vast yellow sand. Next, Su Fong took out a 6 extremes command. It was the 6 extremes command of the Pang clan cultivator who had been ambushed and killed by the Xian clan cultivator. With the help of the 6 extremes command, Su Fong constantly sensed the aura of the Pang clan cultivators. He couldn't directly activate the formation left behind by the Pang clan cultivators in the 6 extremes command to go to where the 6 extreme Tao Saint heart was. Although he was very confident in his own strength, he wasn't so confident that he could ignore so many experts of the Pang clan. Moreover, he didn't know what other powerful methods the Pang clan had hidden. However, with such a great opportunity in front of him, Su Fong couldn't give it up no matter what. If he could merge with the 6 extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart and control the 6 extreme Tao Saint body, he wouldn't have to worry about Ling Xingqian, the Feng clan cultivators, or even the Xian clan cultivator, Xin Tianqi, even if he could only unleash a 10,000th of the 6 extreme Tao Saint heart. Possessing the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial body was equivalent to possessing all the treasures within the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial body. In addition to the strength of the celestial body, Su Fong would possess sufficient strength in the 9 profound divine domain in the future. Su Fong desired the 6 extreme Tao Saint body too much. No matter how big the risk, it would be worth it. Moreover, he had just cultivated the purple fate body and possessed luck that ordinary cultivators could only dream of. This time, he had to give it a try no matter what. Since he couldn't directly go to where the Tao Saint body's heart was, Su Fong had to think of another way. After more than 10 days, he finally sensed the aura of the Pang clan cultivators. Not just one, but as many as 15 of them, and all of them were Tao Lord experts. These Pang clan cultivators were creating a formation in a patch of yellow sand. They sat cross-legged within the formation, waiting for the other Pang clan cultivators to arrive. Clearly, they were waiting for most of them to arrive before leaving together. Su Fong activated the stone essence's earth elemental divine might and fused it with the surrounding yellow sand. He carefully approached them, stopping about 50 kilometers away from them. He observed them for 3 days. Su Fong's gaze pierced through the yellow sand and the barrier, landing on one of the Pang clan cultivators who was at the lower Tao Lord level. Then, the Tao runes of the heavenly fate shrinking technique flickered within the Jiuquan Tao Palace. The Tao rune's aura immediately condensed into an ethereal karmic thread. Life-pulling karmic thread. An ethereal thread emerged from Su Fong's forehead and landed on the Pang clan cultivator, tying him to his fate. The Pang clan cultivator didn't even notice that Su Fong had planted a karmic thread in him. Then, Su Fong activated the life-pulling karmic thread, causing it to vibrate and hum, taking control of the cultivator's fate. "Come here." Su Fong's voice, like the master of fate, rang out in the Pang clan cultivator's mind through the karmic thread. Like a puppet, the Pang clan cultivator was controlled by the life-pulling karmic thread and flew out of the barrier. Although the other Pang clan cultivators were surprised, none of them asked questions. Soon, the Pang clan cultivator arrived where Su Fong was and sucked Su Fong into the Xintian Tao Palace through his forehead. Su Fong entered the Tao Palace and let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, nothing unexpected happened. The Destiny Divine ability from the Destiny platform was truly astonishing. It was able to control a Tao Lord so easily. It hadn't been easy. Although Su Fong had specifically chosen the weakest Pang clan cultivator to use the life-pulling karmic thread, he had still sacrificed about 20% of his lifespan. His Tao heart and fate had also been damaged, but it was still within an acceptable range. Return. Su Fong transmitted his thoughts to the Pang clan cultivator. At this moment, Su Fong was controlling his fate. Su Fong's will completely dominated his everything. The only thing he could do was submit unconditionally. The life-pulling karmic thread was just that powerful. It was much more powerful than Su Fong's night demon ability in the Pongsong universe. QL-11, the Pang clan cultivator, slowly flew back, passed through the barrier, and sat down in his original position. Another 3 months passed. A few more Pang clan cultivators arrived one after another. It's about time. It's time to meet up with the young master. The strongest Pang clan cultivator stood up and ordered the other Pang clan cultivators. More than 10 Pang clan cultivators took out the 6 Extremes token and activated the formation inside. Buzz! Buzz! Xian Guang erupted from the 6 Extremes token and enveloped the Pang clan cultivators. Then, the divine spatial might teleported them out. Su Fong, who was in the Pang clan cultivator's Xintian Tao Palace, was also affected by the spatial distortion and felt the world spin. After a moment of weightlessness, space-time changed, and then there was suddenly weight. The Pang clan cultivator appeared in a completely different space-time. With the help of the Pang clan cultivator's eyes, Su Fong saw the scene outside. This was a vast and empty space. It was somewhat similar to the chaotic void, dark and cold. However, it had the aura of death that pervaded the space inside the 6 Extremes Tao Sage Dharma body, as well as the power of the heavenly Tao's decay. Moreover, it was 10 times denser than the space inside Su Fong's Earth Dharma body. There was a vast formation in this space. It was obviously created by the Pang clan cultivators in the past. Only this many people came. Pang Yin's dissatisfied voice came from afar. Then, Pang Yin led more than 60 Pang clan cultivators and flew over. One of the Pang clan cultivators said, "It seems that there was an accident when they came in. They might have been killed by the Xian clan." Pang Yan's divine light swept over the dozen Pang clan cultivators who had just arrived. He asked, "Has anyone seen Su Fong?" The cultivators of the Pang clan were all shocked. Pang Yan waved his hand and said, "Forget it. Let's not bother with that ant for now. What's important is more important." Then, Pang Yan led the Pang clan cultivators and flew into the depths of this space. This space was incomparably vast. Although their speed wasn't slow, they still flew for half a year. It felt like they were flying inside a huge tomb. The Pang clan cultivators were exhausted at an alarming rate. They could only recover by continuously swallowing pills. In the dark and cold space before them, a gray ball of divine light appeared. However, they couldn't see what was inside the ball of divine light. "We're here." Pang Yan was excited and happy. He sped up and flew toward the ball of divine light. When they were more than 10 miles away from the ball of divine light, they could finally see what was inside. It was a heart the size of an adult's head. There was no sign of life in the heart. It was different from a normal person's heart. Not only was it much larger, but it didn't look like it was made of flesh and blood. Instead, it looked like it was made of silver. There were numerous marks that seemed to be formed naturally on his heart, and they contained extremely profound profundities of the Heaven Tao. Chapter 2661. The heart looked lifeless, but it contained a strong will that was above the Taoist master, even surpassing the Pang tribe's grand elder and Xian Tianqi. All the cultivators' Tao hearts and wills trembled when they saw the heart. Their Tao hearts were about to shatter, and they could not help but submit to this strong and cold will. It was no ordinary heart, but the condensation of a peerless existence's Tao heart and will. Even in death, the will within was not extinguished, causing countless cultivators to submit and worship it. Pang Yan's eyes flickered with respect and excitement. Su Fong's eyes brightened when he saw the heart in the Pang tribe's Taoist palace. Shixin Daozu's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. 6 Extreme Tao Saint's ability was extraordinary. Although he has fallen, his Tao heart and will are still there. It's not easy to merge with his Tao heart. You might even lose your life. Su Fong asked in surprise, "Master, you know about 6 Extreme Tao Saint too?" He was Dongxuan's top expert after all. His death back then caused quite a commotion in the Jiuxuan God realm. I more or less know about him. 6 Extreme Tao Saint's ability was so strong. How could he have fallen? Su Fong asked. This was what he was puzzled about. Let's not talk about 6 Extreme Tao Saint. Even I, whose lifespan is like eternity, have many reasons for my death. However, 6 Extreme Tao Saint's death was his own fault. You can use the art of shrinking life to sense the heart, and you will know the cause of his death. Su Fong did not hesitate to use the art of shrinking life to sense 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart. BZZT, BZZT, BZZT. The destiny runes in Su Fong's Jiuxuan Taoist palace flickered rapidly. The heart shuddered as well, flashing with the void Xian Guang from destiny. Su Fong Dao was shocked. 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart still has the power of destiny from the art of shrinking life. It turned out that Su Fong had used the art of shrinking life to sense the heart, causing the power of destiny to flicker in the heart. It had also caused Su Fong's art of shrinking life to move along with it. Pang Yin and the other Pang tribe cultivators also noticed the abnormal movement of the heart. They were all shocked and retreated. Su Fong quickly transmitted his thoughts to Shixin Daozu. "Master, why does 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart have the power of the art of shrinking life? Could it be that the 6 Extreme Tao Saint was killed by the heavenly fate stage cultivators?" 6 Tao Saints' art of shrinking life. 6 Extreme Tao Saints' defeat the divines was defeated by the other forces of the major powers. He was defeated him. When one's cultivation base reaches the level of a Tao Saint, it is already very difficult to kill him. However, 6 Extreme Tao Saint was seeking his own death. In his anger, he actually colluded with the other races and attacked the Eastern Xian divine region. Colluding with the other races is a heinous crime. 6 Extreme Tao Saint's actions made him the public enemy of the human race. Jiuxuan's experts were all enraged. In the end, Heaven's Destiny stage was infuriated and sent out a mysterious expert to destroy his destiny with the art of shrinking life, causing his death. However, this person is indeed impressive. His Dharma body and Tao heart can still be left behind until now. However, the power of destiny from the art of shrinking life is still there. If he is not completely wiped out, it will not disappear. Shi Xian Daozu spoke slowly to Su Fong, feeling rather sorry for Six Extreme Dao Saint's death. Su Fong was shocked. He did not expect Six Extreme Dao Saint to die in such a way. This was a rare opportunity. He quickly asked, "Master, I want to obtain Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body." However, Shi Xian Daozu interrupted Su Fong. "That is your own destiny. Whether you can obtain it depends on your own efforts. I will not help you. If you want to use one chance to save your life, I can help you obtain Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body. If you want to use one chance, then forget it." Su Fong rejected him decisively. What a joke. Although Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body was important, how could it compare to Shi Xian Daozu's one chance to attack? Furthermore, if Shi Xian Daozu had to personally attack to obtain the treasure, it would definitely lower his impression in Daozu's heart. It was not worth it. However, I can tell you that the cultivators from the Pang clan and the cultivators from the Xian clan will not be able to fuse with Six Extremes Dao heart. As such, they will not be able to obtain his Dharma body. Only you have a chance. Whether you can grasp it depends on you. Thank you for your reminder, Master. Shi Xian Daozu's words surprised Su Fong. His eyes shone brightly. Since even Shi Xian Daozu said that there was a chance, Su Fong would do his best to fight for it, no matter how slim the chance was. Pang Yin stared at Six Extreme Dao Saint's heart. He could not hide his ambition. His eyes shone with a sharp light. As long as I can fuse with Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dao heart, I will be able to obtain a part of his power. In the future, not only in Fire Luo Profound World, but also in the entire Eastern Profound Divine Domain, I will be an unparalleled expert. Just as Pang Yin was about to fuse with Six Extreme Dao Saint's heart, a sinister laugh came from the distant void. Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body was discovered by both the Xian clan and the Pang clan. If the Pang clan wants to monopolize the Dharma body, aren't they looking down on the Xian clan? Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as the voice reached the ears of the Pang clan cultivators, more than a dozen Xian clan cultivators flew over. The three Xian clan cultivators in the lead had an ethereal aura that surpassed the Dao Lord level. They were three Dao Lords, especially the young man in the middle. His entire person was like a sharp sword. His eyes were sharp, and he looked extremely extraordinary. Seeing the young man from the Xian clan, Pang Yin's divine light changed instantly. He exclaimed, "Xian Tianhe." Hearing this name, the other Pang clan cultivators who did not know the young man from the Xian clan were all shocked. Their eyes were filled with fear and reverence. QL11 Xian Tianhe. The Xian clan was a Dao Lord expert. Although he was only an intermediate Dao Lord, he was respected as the #1 Dao Lord in Fire Luo Profound World. His strength was unfathomable. Unexpectedly, in order to obtain Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body, even Xian Tianhe was sent out. It seemed like the Xian clan was determined to obtain the Dharma body. Xian Tianhe is a powerful person. Now it's almost impossible to obtain the Dharma body of the Six Extreme Dao Saint. We can only wait and see. Su Fong had been in Fire Luo Profound World for many years and knew of Xian Tianhe. He did not expect Xian Tianhe to be here. He could not help but lose hope. Are you going to scram on your own? Or do you want me to kill all of you? Xian Tianhe's sword-like eyes swept past the Pang clan cultivators. The Pang clan cultivators trembled as if their entire bodies and souls had been cut by the sharp sword light. Pang Yin braced himself and said, "Lord Xian Tianhe, since the Six Extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body is shared by both the Pang clan and the Xian clan, isn't it a little too overbearing for the Xian clan to want to fight alone? Scram! Say another word and I'll kill you." A beam of sword light shot out from Xian Tianhe's eyes. In an instant, it pierced through Pang Yin's chest, causing blood to spurt out. Pang Yin was sent flying by the sword Qi. He spat out blood again, but it wasn't fatal. Clearly, Xian Tianhe had been merciful. Pang Yin gritted his teeth and shouted, "All Pang clan members, retreat." There was no choice. Although the Pang clan had more people than the Xian clan's power suppressed the Pang clan. Xian Tianhe alone could kill all the Pang clan cultivators. They had no choice but to retreat. However, the Pang clan cultivators didn't go far. They retreated hundreds of miles away. The Xian clan cultivators didn't kill them all. Pang Yin looked at Xian Tianhe, who was flying toward the 6 extreme Dao Saint's heart. Suddenly, his eyes flashed with sharpness and pride. The 6 extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body belongs to the Pang clan. Only I, Pang Yin, can fuse with the Dao heart. The Xian clan wants to monopolize the Dharma body. Just wait to pay a heavy price. Even if Xian Tianhe doesn't die, he will be severely injured. It turned out that the Pang clan had already predicted that the Xian clan's purpose in entering the Dharma body's inner space wasn't just for the treasures in the inner space, but the entire Dharma body. Pang Yin purposely let Xian Tianhe fuse with the Dao heart first for another purpose. The Dao heart of a Dao saint. Xian Tianhe flew 1,000 feet away from the heart and stared at it. His eyes shone brightly. He was unusually excited. 1,000 tempering sword heart fuse. Xian Tianhe shouted coldly. A sharp aura exploded and shrouded the 6 extreme Dao Saint's heart. Poof! A ghastly white mystic light came out of his heart and turned into the shadow of a tiny flying sword about half a foot long. This wasn't some Xianguang. Xian Tianhe had formed his Dao heart and released it from his body. He used it to fuse with the Dao hearts while in the 6 extreme Dao Saint's heart. Then, he fused with the heart and controlled the 6 extreme Dao Saint's Dharma body. This person is quite extraordinary. He actually cultivated the 1,000 tempering sword heart. Shixian Daozu's voice sounded in Su Feng's mind. Su Feng asked in shock, "1,000 tempering sword heart? That's also a type of Dao heart?" "That's right. It's also a very special type. Only cultivators who cultivate the Dao of the sword can cultivate the 1,000 tempering sword heart after countless life-and-death battles and killings." Su Feng suddenly became nervous. Since Xian Tianhe's Dao heart is so extraordinary, doesn't that mean he can fuse with the 6 extreme Dao Saint's Dao heart? How can the 6 extreme Dao Saint's Dao heart be ordinary? That cultivator will not only find it difficult to fuse with it, but he might also suffer a little. Su Feng finally calmed down. He looked with the help of the Pang clan cultivator's eyes. Xian Tianhe's Dao heart suddenly flew to the 6 extreme Dao Saint's heart. It turned into a ghastly white sword radiance and shrouded the heart. The sword radiance kept seeping into the heart to fuse with the Dao Saint's will in the heart. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The heart kept trembling and emitted a silver light. The Dao hearts will kept rejecting the sword radiance. Boom! The heart that seemed to be made of silver suddenly beat and shattered the sword radiance. A cold and boundless supreme power of will swept out and landed on Xian Tianhe's body. Chapter 2662. The Xian clan expert Xian Tianhe, the first Dao Lord of the Fire Luo mystic world, had an extraordinary Dao heart, the 1,000-tempered sword heart. He had tried to merge with the 6 Paths Saint's Dao heart, but he had suffered a severe backlash. Although the 6 Paths Saint had died many years ago, the remnant Dao heart in his heart was still so domineering. The Xian clan experts, including the 2 Dao Lords, were all shocked and retreated. At this moment, the 6 Paths Saint's heart was no longer a peerless treasure, but a terrifying monster. One of the Xian clan Dao Lords quickly went forward to stabilize Xian Tianhe and help him swallow the pill. Xian Tianhe's Dao heart was shattered, and he immediately fell into a heavily injured state. Although he wouldn't die with his Dao heart shattered, he would have a hard time on the path of cultivation in the future. This also meant that Xian Tianhe, the so-called first Dao Lord of the Fire Luo mystic world, had been removed from the list. Xian Tianhe spat out another mouthful of blood, and his aura became weak. His face was ashen as he said hatefully, "The 6 extreme Dao Saint's Dao heart was made of supreme steel. I didn't expect it to still be so strong after so many years. Even my thousand-tempered Tao heart couldn't merge with it. Instead, my Tao heart was shattered. The other Xian clan cultivators all trembled, and no one dared to try to merge with the six extreme Tao saints' heart. Whoosh, Pang Yin flew over with the Pang clan cultivators. Pang Yin cupped his fist towards the two Tao lords of the Xian clan. Lords of the Xian clan, if you give up on merging with the Tao heart, I'll go down and try. You won't object, right? One of the Xian clan elders snorted. Even the first Tao lord of the Fire Luo mystic world failed. A mere Tao lord like you wants to merge with the six extreme Tao saints' Tao heart? If you want to die, the Xian clan won't stop you. Thank you, Lord. Pang Yin cupped his fists towards the Xian clan elder, and then flew towards the six extreme Tao saints' heart. Su Fong, who was hiding in the Tao palace of a Pang clan cultivator, saw Pang Yin's confidence and was surprised. Pang Yin is so confident that he really has a way to merge with the six extreme Tao saints' Tao heart. Even if he succeeds, isn't afraid that the Tao lords of the clan will go back on their word. With the help of the Pang clan cultivator's eyes, Su Fong observed Pang Yin's every move. Pang Yin slowly flew near the heart and smiled proudly. The six extreme great Tao saints' Tao heart is the legendary fine steel Tao heart. It is as strong as fine steel. Although Xian Tian's thousand tempering Tao heart is extraordinary, how can it merge? As for me, Pang Yin, I was born with an extraordinary Tao heart. Ever since the Pang clan discovered the secret of the six extreme Tao saint, I have been focused on cultivation for the past few million years. I have used various methods to sharpen my Tao heart. Otherwise, how could I have been made the young master of the Pang clan? My blazing Tao heart can refine the Tao heart of six extreme Tao saint. Naturally, I can easily fuse them together. The Tao heart of the six extreme Tao saint, including the six extreme Tao saint celestial body, belongs to me, Pang Yin. No one can take it away from me. Pang Yin revealed a domineering smile as a crack appeared between his eyebrows. A thought that contained a scorching fire elemental Taoist rhyme, Dharma power, and his will of Tao jumped out from between his eyebrows. It turned into an illusory fiery light that enveloped his heart. A cluster of fist-sized crimson fire that could only be seen through the soul flew out of his heart. It was the blazing Tao heart that Pang Yin had condensed with all of his will. Whoosh, the crimson flames landed on the heart and enveloped it, burning it with a sizzling sound. Sizzle. The silver-like heart actually started to melt in the illusory flames. Pang Yin's will and consciousness kept on seeping into the heart. Pang Yin could feel that his Tao heart had obtained a supreme will, and it kept on expanding. His sensing power also quickly spread to every corner of the six extreme Tao saint celestial body. A powerful feeling of controlling the entire celestial body filled his heart. A smug smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The many cultivators of the Pang clan also revealed expressions of wild joy. Although the experts of the Xian clan did not believe that Pang Yin could fuse with the Tao heart of six extreme Tao saint, they still stayed behind and observed Pang Yin's every move. Seeing that Pang Yin was gradually fusing with the Tao heart of six extreme Tao saint, Xian Tianhe, who was heavily injured, let out a cold, murderous voice. Kill him. Whoosh! Whoosh! The two Tao masters of the Xian clan completely released the seals on their physical bodies and celestial bodies. They no longer suppressed their cultivations and charged towards Pang Yin. One of them released a thought that turned into a violent and extremely sharp hurricane that swept towards Pang Yin. The other released his celestial body and struck out with a shocking seal. It formed a 1,000-foot-long sword chi that slashed towards Pang Yin. The many cultivators of the Pang clan were terrified. It was as if doomsday had arrived. However, Pang Yin did not seem to notice the attacks from the Xian clan Tao masters. He was still fully focused on fusing with the Tao heart of six extreme Tao saint. Seeing that the attacks of the two Xian clan Tao masters were about to engulf Pang Yin and the other cultivators of the Pang clan, A flame divine aura suddenly erupted from the body of a Pang clan cultivator who was only at the lower level of Tao Lord. This flame divine aura was extremely shocking. Not only did it contain the terrifying power to incinerate everything, but it also contained the supreme aura of the Grand Tao of Fire. Where the flame divine aura swept out, the thought hurricanes released by the two Xian clan Tao masters and the 1,000-foot long sword chi shattered layer by layer and were instantly incinerated into nothingness. Moreover, the flame divine aura did not diminish as it enveloped the Xian clan cultivators. Chi, chi, chi. 3 of the weaker Xian clan cultivators had their physical bodies and avatars instantly melted and turned into wisps of black smoke. The remaining Tao lords had their physical bodies incinerated as well. Only their avatars were left. Xian Tianhe and the other 2 Tao masters had their defenses shattered, and their physical bodies were burned by the flame divine aura. They were all heavily injured. The Pang clan cultivator who had attacked was only at the lower level of Tao Lord. He did not look impressive, but his strength had surpassed the Tao masters and even the Grand Elder of the Pang clan and Xian Tianchi. One of the Xian clan elders asked in a trembling voice, "Who are you?" The domineering aura on Xian Tianhe's face disappeared. Instead, it was filled with surprise and shock. He said bitterly, "How could there be such a powerful expert in the Pang clan other than the Pang clan's patriarch?" The Pang clan's patriarch. The Xian clan cultivators were all terrified and fell into despair. They did not expect that the Pang clan's patriarch would personally come to the inner space of the 6 Extreme Tao Saints avatar. Inside the 6 Extreme Tao Saints avatar, the higher one's cultivation was, the greater one would be affected by the avatar's power of decay. The Pang clan's patriarch had clearly taken a huge risk by coming here. Unless it was a critical moment, he would not personally come. The unprepossessing Pang clan cultivator spoke in an old and dignified voice. "I didn't want to do anything, but your Xian clan has gone too far. You tried to kill the young master of my Pang clan, so I had no choice but to punish you. Otherwise, you would think that my Pang clan is a pushover. Since the Pang clan's patriarch has personally come, the Xian clan has nothing to say. The 6 Extreme Tao Saints avatar belongs to the Pang clan. Let's go." Xian Tianhe gritted his teeth and led the other Xian clan cultivators into the depths of the space. They had no choice but to leave. They had no power to resist the Pang clan's patriarch. The Pang clan's patriarch had already been merciful by sparing their lives. Looks like there's no hope for the 6 Extreme Tao Saints avatar now. Su Feng, who was hidden in the Xiantian Tao Palace of the Pang clan cultivator, was like a deflated balloon. He hurriedly used the life-shrinking technique to conceal his aura. The Pang clan's patriarch was a very powerful existence. If he wanted to sense, he would easily discover Su Feng. At that time, Su Feng would not be able to escape. Fortunately, the Pang clan's patriarch's attention was all on Pang Yin and the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' heart. He did not pay attention to anything else and would not deliberately sense the other Pang clan cultivators. 2 hours. 4 hours. About 6 hours later, the heart had completely melted into a mercury-like substance. Pang Yan's face was as pale as paper and his body was trembling. However, his eyes were shining with a hearty light and a supreme, domineering aura that could control the world appeared. The Pang clan cultivator's eyes were also shining, and he was so excited that his body was trembling. Su Feng was secretly anxious. What do we do? Do we just watch as the 6 Extreme Tao Saints avatar is controlled by Pang Yin? Suddenly, buzz. In Su Feng's Jiushuan Tao Palace, the Tao runes of the life-shrinking technique flashed wildly. Shortly after, a faintly discernible power of destiny erupted from the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' celestial body. Not only Pang Yin, but even the Pang clan cultivator that the Pang clan's patriarch was residing in did not notice. Puff! Pang Yin felt as if an invisible hand had slapped him and the space around him. Pang Yin opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of essence blood. His Tao heart was instantly shattered. Not only that, but a terrifying power that could wipe out destiny and everything connected to destiny caused Pang Yan's physical body, Tao Palace, and avatar to rapidly collapse. The flame that enveloped his heart also disappeared. In less than 3 breaths of time, Pang Yan was completely gone. It was as if he had never existed. The Destiny Platform. The Pang Clan cultivators' eyes were filled with shock and fear. The other Pang Clan cultivators had completely turned into ice sculptures. Su Fong was also extremely shocked. The life shrinking technique. The Heaven's Fate Stage expert used the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique to kill 6 Extreme Tao Saint. In the Tao heart of 6 Extreme Tao Saint, there was still the supreme power of destiny left. Pang Yin tried to fuse with 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart and was killed by the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique. Then, the Pang Clan cultivators' memories of Pang Yin began to fade rapidly. In their memories, Pang Yin had never existed, nor had their fates intertwined with his. Not only the ordinary Pang Clan cultivators, but even Su Fong and the Pang Clan's patriarch quickly lost their memories of Pang Yin. The life-shrinking technique was just that domineering. This time, not only the Xian clan, but also the Pang Clan had suffered heavy losses. Although the Pang Clan cultivator had lost his memories of Pang Yin, he was still a powerful expert. He could still vaguely remember that something had happened that had caused the Pang Clan to suffer heavy losses. With his strength, he did not have the right to retain memories of that incident. Let's leave quickly. Chapter 2663. All the cultivators of the Pang Clan left the place where the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart was and returned to the formation. They left quickly with the help of the formation. No one noticed that one of the cultivators of the Pang Clan had been waiting for everyone to leave. Then, a figure flashed out of his Tao Palace. Then, the cultivator of the Pang Clan stepped into the formation. The cultivators of the Pang Clan, including the Pang Clan's ancestor, were all terrified. They wanted to leave as soon as possible and naturally did not notice this. The Xian clan and Pang Clan were unable to fuse with the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart. But I, Su Fong, may be able to do it. Su Fong's eyes flashed with determination. He was nervous, excited, and full of anticipation as he flew back to the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart. Half a month later, Su Fong appeared in front of the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's heart. However, when he saw the heart, his eyes flashed with fear. The Xian clan's Xian Tianhe, the first Tao master of the whole mystical world, and Pang Yin not only failed to fuse with the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart. One was injured and the other was killed. Even the Pang Clan's ancestor could not stop them. Su Fong was only in the Tao true realm. How could he not be afraid? Fortune comes from danger. This time, no matter what, I have to give it a try. Purple Fate Dharma Body. This time, it must give me supreme fate and obtain the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Dharma Body. Su Fong relied on not only his colorful Jade Tao heart and the Heaven's Secret Life shrinking technique, but also the Purple Fate Dharma Body that could bring him supreme fate. Otherwise, how could he have the confidence to try something that even a Tao master could not succeed? First, I have to recover to my peak state. Then, I will fuse with the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart. Previously, when Su Fong used the life manipulation karma line to control the fate of the Pang Clan cultivator, he had lost a lot of life force. Although it was still bearable, there could not be any mistakes in fusing with the 6 Extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart. The slightest mistake could be fatal. Hence, Su Fong had to be very careful. Su Fong sat cross-legged in the air. After creating a formation around him, he began to devour elixirs and fused with the expert's life force. About 3 years, Su Fong suddenly opened his eyes. Although I haven't fully recovered to my peak state, there isn't much time left. Start fusing with the 6 Extreme Tao Saint Tao heart. Then he activated his Purple Fate Battle Body. In an instant, his physical body and his other battle bodies were enveloped by mysterious purple qi. An invisible force of fate enveloped him. Qi. Su Fong extracted a lump of blood essence from his body. He couldn't release his thoughts, so he could only use the blood essence to fuse with his Yuan Shun consciousness, Dharma power, mystic yang power, and yin-yang power to fuse with his heart and Tao heart. The essence blood turned into a cloud of blood mist and danced around the heart like a fairy. Only then did Su Fong focus all his energy and release his Tao heart and will. A rainbow-colored light gushed out from Su Fong's heart. Multicolored light swept out and enveloped the heart. The multicolored light and Su Fong's blood essence, consciousness, and power seeped into his heart. The heart that was originally deathly still was now enveloped by a layer of dazzling light. The six extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart was as strong as steel and constantly released a cold and powerful will, causing Su Fong's infiltration to be very slow. However, Su Fong was pleasantly surprised to find that his colorful Jade Tao heart was clearly superior to the six extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart. Furthermore, the purple fate battle body brought Su Fong a kind of supreme heavenly Tao fate, which was also continuously suppressing the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint. Under the infiltration of Su Fong's Tao heart, the six extreme Tao Saint's powerful Tao heart was constantly being fused. From the initial rejection, it actively cooperated with Su Fong. Although a cultivator's Tao heart was related to their cultivation to a certain extent, it wasn't everything. Su Fong had experienced all kinds of hardships and tribulations in the past, which allowed him to train a strong and resilient Tao heart. During the tribulation, it formed a colorful Jade Tao heart, which was superior to most Tao hearts. Even the Shi Xian Daozu was full of praise for it. Although the six extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart was strong, in terms of quality, it was still inferior to Su Fong. Most importantly, the six extreme Tao Saint had already died and his fate was erased by the Destiny Stage Expert's life shrinking technique. His Tao heart was constantly being eroded, and coupled with the suppression of the purple fate battle body, it was only natural that he would be fused with Su Fong's colorful Jade Tao heart. Although my colorful Jade Tao heart can fuse with the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint, I still can't be careless. This is the first stage. The most terrifying thing is the Destiny Stage Expert's life shrinking technique left in the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint. Su Fong was still trembling in fear and did not dare to be careless. He knew how terrifying the Destiny Stage shrinking technique was. Moreover, the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint contained the power of destiny that was personally cast by the Destiny Stage Expert. Once he was devoured, his fate would be wiped out. As the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint continued to fuse with Su Fong, he felt that he had become one with the Tao Saint's celestial body, as if he was the celestial body's master. He could even sense what was going on inside the celestial body through the fused Tao heart. This included the cultivators from the Pang clan and Xian clan who were searching for treasures in the celestial body. They could also sense the ownerless thoughts in the celestial body. Unfortunately, as the Tao heart was not completely fused, Su Fong could not truly control those thoughts in the celestial body. Time passed, and every second felt like a year to Su Fong. Unknowingly, 12 hours had already passed. Su Fong's will, consciousness, and power had completely penetrated into the depths of the six extreme Tao Saint's heart, and had almost completely fused with it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The thing that Su Fong had long predicted had still happened. From the depths of the six extreme Tao Saint's heart, the power of destiny suddenly surged out. In an instant, it passed through Su Fong's will, consciousness, mana, and divine power, and enveloped Su Fong's destiny. At this moment, a terrifying feeling that he had never felt before enveloped Su Fong's body and mind. This feeling was something that Su Fong had experienced before when he used the life-shrinking technique to wipe out the destiny of others. However, Su Fong had never experienced it before. It was too terrifying. In the next moment, everything in Su Fong's destiny would be wiped clean, as if it had never existed in the world. I'm dead this time. Su Fong's heart was filled with despair. Other than despair, he did not have time to think of anything else. The power of destiny that could wipe out everything instantly swept through Su Fong's Jiuquan Dao Palace. Poof! Su Fang's purple fate Dharma body had brought him an unparalleled amount of luck. It blocked the power of destiny for a moment before it shattered and disappeared. Although it was only for a moment, it gave Su Fang a chance to catch his breath. Suddenly, in Su Fang's Jiuquan Dao Palace, there was a buzzing sound like a swarm of bees. All the Dao runes of the life shrinking technique surged out, exuding a shocking aura of Dao runes. It was not to resist the power of destiny. Instead, it was like a strange resonance. It was more like a greeting. The power of destiny that came from the six extreme Dao Saint's heart swept through Su Fang's Jiuquan Dao Palace and the void of destiny. In a flash, it disappeared into the Jiuquan Dao Palace. It was like a gust of wind had blown past, and everything returned to its calm state. Su Fang was shocked and stunned. He had never thought that this would happen. He sensed carefully and found that the power of destiny had not truly disappeared. It was hidden in his Dao Palace and merged with the void of destiny. As far as I know, there is an unwritten rule in the Destiny platform. A Destiny platform expert cannot use the life shrinking technique to kill a cultivator who has mastered the life shrinking technique. Xian Daozu's voice rang out. Clearly, he had expected this. Su Fang was puzzled. Why is that? The Destiny platform is extremely mysterious. It controls destiny. As for why there is such a rule, even I'm not sure. This time, you're lucky that you have the purple luck celestial body. Otherwise, you would have been killed instantly and would not have had any chance to react. If you merge with the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart, it means that you have fate karma with the Destiny platform. In the future, you will definitely be entangled with the Destiny platform. It is hard to tell whether it is a blessing or a curse. After ending the conversation with Xian Daozu, Su Fang realized that his body was drenched in sweat. It was as if he had walked on the edge of death. Huff! He let out a long breath and calmed himself down. He began to focus on merging with the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart. Buzz! 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 Su Fang's Dao heart suddenly resonated with the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart. In an instant, Su Fang felt that he had completely merged with the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart and the avatar. He had become the owner of the six extreme Dao Saints body. With the help of the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart, not only could he sense everything inside the six extreme Dao Saints avatar clearly, he could even control the avatar's power. Inside the water-type avatar, heavy rain continued to fall from the sky. Below, there was a vast ocean world. The six Pang clan cultivators worked together to kill a terrifying transparent monster that was thousands of feet tall. The monster's body collapsed, and a blue gem flew out. The Pang clan cultivators were surprised and happy. They were about to put the gem away. However, at this moment, an invisible force wrapped around the gem. With a whoosh, it disappeared from the water-type avatar's internal space without a trace. The six Pang clan cultivators were stunned and turned into six ice statues. In a world where thunder flashed and thunder rumbled, more than a dozen Xian clan cultivators were attacking a monster that had thunder circling around it. QL11 behind the monster, there was a divine tree that was 100 feet tall. The tree trunk and every leaf were flashing with terrifying lightning. More than a dozen golden fruits were hanging on the branches. It was obviously not an ordinary item. Those Xian clan cultivators were the ones who had tried to steal the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart, including Xian Tianhe. The three Dao masters who had come to the six extreme Dao Saints tomb were all among them. Xian Tianhe was heavily injured and naturally did not attack. He stared at the fruits on the divine tree from afar. Chapter 2664. When Xian Tianhe tried to fuse with the six extreme Dao Saints Dao heart, he suffered a backlash. His 1,000-tempering sword heart, which he had cultivated through countless hardships, was shattered. This meant that not only would it be difficult for him to advance in the future, but his cultivation would also drop. The divine tree that grew in the space of the six extreme Dao Saints' lightning avatar was the fruit of the six extreme Dao Saints' dermic powers and Taoist rhymes. It was extremely extraordinary. Lightning was the most destructive power, but it also contained infinite vitality. The six extreme Tao, Saint's realm, was shocking. The great Tao of lightning that he had comprehended from the chaos was equally shocking. The reincarnation life and death fruit that he had condensed had the greatest effect of helping cultivators temper their Tao hearts and had the ability to reconstruct their Tao hearts. Xian Tianhe planned to use the reincarnation life-death fruit to reconstruct his shattered thousand-tempering sword heart. However, it wasn't easy to obtain the reincarnation life-death fruit. The monster that guarded the samsara fruit of life and death seemed to be a minotaur, yet it wasn't a minotaur. It was a monster formed from a strand of the sixth extreme Tao saints, that had devoured the other strands of his will after he perished, and it absorbed the energy and aura of the lightning element avatar. Other than Xian Tianhe, there were two other Tao lords in the Xian clan. However, not only were their cultivations restricted in the space of the six extreme Tao saints avatar, but the stronger they were, the more they would be corroded by the power of death. Thus, they didn't dare to use their full strength. However, Xian Tianhe was extremely important to the Xian clan. He was even more important than the Xian clan's grand elder. In order to help him reconstruct his Tao heart, the Xian clan cultivators didn't hesitate to pay the price. In the end, they sacrificed the lives of 3 Tao lords to finally kill the lightning monster. Quickly give me the reincarnation life-death fruit. Xian Tianhe was overjoyed and couldn't wait to get the reincarnation life-death fruit. The 3 Tao lords charged towards the reincarnation life-death fruit. Suddenly, a vast and boundless power, like the power of the heavenly Tao, swept up the lightning in the avatar space and swept the 3 Xian clan cultivators over. Under the shocked and surprised gazes of Xian Tianhe and the other Xian clan cultivators, the 3 Xian clan cultivators didn't even have time to groan before they were devoured by the lightning and turned into ashes. The attack had come too suddenly and was so terrifying that even peerless experts who had surpassed the Tao Lord level would find it difficult to survive such a shocking attack, let alone these 3 Tao Lords. Could it be a powerful will left behind by the 6 extreme Tao saint? It's the Pang clan. The Pang clan controls the Tao heart of the 6 extreme Tao saints. That's why they can control the power of the 6 extreme Tao saints. Damn it! How could the Pang clan fuse the 6 extreme great Tao saints' Tao heart so easily? The Pang clan actually wants to capture all of us in one fell swoop. Retreat. Quickly leave the Dharmakaya space. Xian Tianhe and the other elites of the Xian clan immediately understood. They were all shocked and wanted to activate the 6 extreme token to escape from the inner space of the 6 extreme path Holy Thunder avatar. Rumble. Thunder rumbled in the space as if the end of the world had arrived. The entire space was filled with terrifying thunder elemental energy. The lightning illuminated the space and caused the space to tremble. Under such circumstances, any space Xian Bao couldn't activate the power of space. Otherwise, they would be torn to pieces by the power of space. Countless thunder roared and circled around Xian Tianhe and the other Xian clan cultivators. The terrifying thunder elemental energy that could destroy everything made Xian Tianhe, the #1 Tao Lord of the whole mystical world, tremble. The other Xian clan cultivators were even more so. One of the Xian clan cultivators whose Tao heart wasn't strong enough shattered under the impact of the thunder elemental Tao Lords. However, the surrounding thunder didn't intend to kill them. This made them even more certain that someone was controlling everything in the 6 extreme path Holy Thunder avatar. Whoosh! Thunder surged. A figure stepped on the thunder and walked out step by step. He looked like the god of thunder who ruled this world of thunder. Seeing that figure, the Xian clan cultivators were all dumbfounded, including Xian Tianhe, as if they had been struck by lightning. This person is a cultivator with another surname from the Pang clan, Su Fong. He is the one who killed the strong cultivators of the Xian clan. Even Xian Guiming was killed by him. Why is Su Fong here? The Xian clan cultivators finally regained their senses and fell into a state of intense shock. Su Fong condensed the shadow formed by the thunder elemental energy. Lightning flashed in his eyes as he shouted domineeringly, "You have 2 choices now. Either you submit to me, Su Fong, and become my slaves, or you die here. A Xian clan cultivator laughed in disdain. You are just an ant from a low-level universe. How dare you make us submit to you? You arrogant brat, you must be crazy. Lightning flashed in Su Fong's eyes. He activated the 6 extreme path Holy Man's Will and Thunder Elemental Dharma Power and struck the Xian clan cultivator. Chi, QL11, the will crushed the cultivator's Tao heart. Even his physical body and Dharma body were turned into dust by the lightning. Xian Tianhe exclaimed, You merge with the 6 extreme path Holy Man's Tao heart. How is this possible? The other Xian clan cultivators were also in disbelief. You can't do it, but it doesn't mean that Su Fong can't do it. Su Fong regained his aura as the supreme overlord of the Pansong universe. He dominated the Xian clan cultivators. I had no enmity with the Xian clan, but because I fought for the Pan clan, you sent people to kill me. You wanted to kill me. You didn't expect that you would fall into the hands of Su Fong one day, right? Now your fate is in my hands. Submit to me or die. Make your decision. As soon as Su Fong finished speaking, his powerful will enveloped the strong cultivators of the Xian clan, suppressing their Tao heart and will. Among the strong cultivators of the Xian clan, there was no lack of true strong cultivators. But what they faced now was the will of a Tao saint, and they were in the 6 extreme path Holy Man's Dharma body space. How could they resist Su Fong? Under the suppression and impact of the will, even the 2 Tao masters had to lower their heads. The other Xian clan cultivators all trembled and couldn't stand. Xian Tianhe gritted his teeth and raised his head. He shouted angrily, My clan is one of the top 3 divine clans in the Fire Luo mystic world. How can we submit to an ant from a low-level world? Kill me if you want. I will never submit. Su Fong laughed. You want to die? That's easy. He activated the 6 extreme path Holy Man's Will and crushed Xian Tianhe's body. Xian Tianhe's Tao heart was already shattered. Under the suppression of the 6 extreme path Holy Man's Will, his will completely collapsed. He lost his consciousness and screamed in pain. Then Su Fong shouted, Old dragon, it's yours. With a thought, the ancestral dragon instantly traveled through the void and appeared in front of Xian Tianhe, a Tao master and the first Tao master of the Fire Luo mystic world. What a treasure! The ancestral dragon was so excited that he drooled. He actually treated Xian Tianhe, a strong cultivator, as a treasure. Then, the ancestral dragon started to devour Xian Tianhe's body in front of the other Xian clan cultivators. It was difficult to completely devour Xian Tianhe's body. After all, Xian Tianhe was a Tao master. His body was extremely strong. It was difficult for the ancestral dragon to swallow him in one bite. Moreover, the ancestral dragon deliberately bit Xian Tianhe's body bite by bite. It looked very cruel. As for Xian Tianhe's Dharma body, because it cultivated the Tao of the sword, it contained the supreme Tao of the sword and unparalleled sword chi. Su Fong extracted the Tao of the sword and sword chi from it to refine the true yang evil slaying sword. Just like that, the former first Tao master of the Fire Luo mystic world died. The other Xian clan cultivators were scared out of their wits. The first to speak was a Tao master. He knelt down and kowtowed to Su Fong. I am willing to submit to you. I will serve Su Fong Da as my master. With this Tao master making a good start, the other Xian clan cultivators did not hesitate. They all knelt down to Su Fong to show their submission. Su Fong asked them to open their souls. With the 6 extreme Tao saints' will and magic power, he also used the life shrinking technique to condense a seal seed into the souls of these Xian clan cultivators. In this way, even a Tao master would not be able to go against Su Fong's will. Moreover, the destiny power of the life shrinking technique not only shackled their souls, but also merged with their destinies. Even if they wanted to betray, they would not be able to resist the suppression of destiny. Just like that, after Su Fong came to the Joshuan God realm, he subdued the first batch of powerful slaves. There were even 2 Tao masters among them. With a thought, Su Fong created a formation inside the Thunder Avatar to shackle these Xian clan cultivators. All of you can recover here for now. When I need you to fight, you can fight for me. Su Fong said majestically. His figure disappeared from the space inside the Thunder Avatar, in the space where the sixth extreme Tao Saint's heart was. Su Fong's face was pale, and his spirit was weak. It seemed easy to suppress the Xian clan cultivators just now. However, Su Fong used the six extreme Tao Saints to control the power inside the Avatar. It consumed a lot of his primordial spirit and Tao heart. The gap between him and the six extreme Tao Saint was too big. Although he had successfully merged with the six extreme Tao Saint's Tao heart, he still could not fully control the power inside the Avatar. It was like a toddler holding a huge hammer. Although the hammer was powerful, it was a huge burden for the toddler. And this was when he was dealing with the cultivators inside the Avatar. If he were to deal with the cultivators outside the Avatar, Su Fong would have to bear 10 times the consumption. Moreover, the six extreme Tao Saints inside the Avatar still needed to be merged continuously. Only then could he control these to attack the enemy. Although the consumption was huge, Su Fong's eyes were very hale and hearty. He revealed a domineering smile. Chapter 2665. All the Xian clan cultivators who entered the six extreme Tao Saint's Dharma body must be suppressed. None of them can escape. Su Fong made use of the Tao heart of the six extreme Tao Saint to sense every corner of the spiritual body's internal space clearly. Seeing that those were the Xian clan cultivators who were searching for treasures, Su Fong's eyes turned sharp and cold. Su Fong was not a kind person. In terms of methods, he was more ruthless than anyone else. He had to be ruthless, whether it was the mortal world or the world of cultivators, whether it was the Pansong universe or the Jioshuan divine realm. They all had to follow the laws of nature. No matter which world it was always you eating me. If Su Fong was not ruthless, how could he have survived until now? Now that the Xian clan had fallen into Su Fong's hands, he naturally would not be soft-hearted. Moreover, he was lacking experts. How could he miss such a good opportunity to suppress experts? The Xian clan lost so many experts in one go. The Xian clan leader must be heartbroken. Su Fong smiled coldly. Although there were only 100 Xian clan cultivators who entered the six extreme Tao Saint's Dharma body, they were all elites of the Xian clan, especially Xian Tianhe, the first Tao master of the Holoan mystical world. They were all suppressed by Su Fong. Even if they did not suffer great losses, they suffered great losses. It would be strange if the Xian clan leader did not vomit blood from anger. As for the Pang clan cultivators, well, since Pang Yin is already dead, I will not make things difficult for them for the sake of the Pang clan leader and the great elder. However, the treasures they obtained all belong to me. How can I let them take them away? Su Fong made up his mind. His divine will use the six extreme Tao Saints' Tao heart to envelop the entire Dharma body. The Xian clan cultivators were suppressed by Su Fong's six extreme Tao Saints' will. Those who refused to submit were killed. In the end, more than 60 Xian clan experts were restrained by Su Fong and became Su Fong's slaves. Some Xian clan cultivators either died in the process of searching for treasures or were suppressed by the Su Fong because they refused to submit, just like Xian Tianhe. The cultivators of the Pang clan were also in trouble. The various gems, spirit items, and other treasures that he had painstakingly obtained were all taken away by Su Fong. Under the supreme will of the six extreme Tao Saint, no one could resist, and all of them had no choice but to take out their treasures. Before entering the six extreme Tao Saint celestial body, if Pang Yin had not taken away Su Fong's six extreme token, Su Fong would not have treated the Pang clan in such a manner. However, Pang Yin had added insult to injury. At this moment, Su Fong could not be blamed for being merciless. Within the space of the six extreme paths, holy fire avatar. After Pang Yin failed to merge with the six extreme great Tao Saints' Tao heart, the unprepossessing Pang clan cultivator quickly left with the others and entered the internal space of the fire elemental Dharma body. The cultivators of the Pang clan mainly cultivated the great Tao of fire. Every thought, gem, and spiritual item in the fire elemental avatar of the six extreme paths were extremely precious to the Pang clan. Hence, after the Pang clan's ancestors' plan had failed, he had rushed here, deep within the space. The Pang clan cultivator that the Pang clan's ancestor resided in was commanding the other Pang clan cultivators to capture balls of purple gold flame. These dazzling balls of flame were formed by the six extreme Great Tao Saints' thoughts. They contained a supreme fire elemental Great Tao of fire that the six extreme Great Tao Saint had mastered, as well as his Dharma power and the power of fire. As long as one could fuse with a single thought, comprehend the Tao within it, and refine its magic power, it could save a cultivator millions of years of bitter cultivation. Therefore, any ownerless thought was a rare treasure for the Pang clan cultivators. Suddenly, QL-11A powerful will descended and covered the entire fire elemental space. The purple gold fireballs seemed to have gained sentience in that instant, and they became restless. The Pang clan cultivator that the Pang clan's ancestor resided in changed his expression instantly. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Could it be that the Xian clan cultivators have merged with the six extreme Great Tao Saints' Tao heart and controlled the entire avatar? A majestic voice rang out in the fire elemental space. How dare you act so recklessly in my avatar? Leave immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. It doesn't seem like the Xian clan. Could it be that the six extreme Great Tao Saint hasn't fallen and has regained his consciousness? Let's go. The Pang clan's ancestor was shocked and made a prompt decision. He hurriedly led the Pang clan cultivators and left with the six extreme token. Outside the six extreme Great Tao Saints avatar, the Pang clan's grand elder and the Xian clan cultivator, Xian Tianqi, were sitting cross-legged in the air. After the Xian clan and Pang clan cultivators entered the avatar, the formation passage was sealed again. The two peerless cultivators were guarding the seal between the avatar's eyebrows. When the time was up, the two of them would work together to open the seal and release the cultivators of the two clans. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. It was time to open the seal and release the cultivators of the two clans. Xian Tianqi looked at the sealed formation passage from time to time. His eyes were filled with unconcealable smugness, as if victory was already in his hands. The Grand Elder asked in a low voice, "Could it be that the Xian clan has prepared some powerful means this time? Are you sure that you can return with a full load? Is that why you are so proud?" Xian Tianqi snorted. Did the Pang clan not prepare anything this time? The Grand Elder smiled. Our clan has more people than the Xian clan. Of course, we will return with a full load this time. Xian Tianqi snorted. Maybe the result will disappoint you. On the plaza, the Pang clan, Xian clan cultivators, Ling Xingqian, Feng Jinhua, the Feng clan's ancestor, and some other Feng clan cultivators were sitting cross-legged on the plaza. Seeing that the time for the seal to be opened was about to come, Feng Jinhua looked at the six extreme Great Tao Saint avatar more often. His gaze became sharper. Previously, he had let Su Feng go for no reason. Until now, he still didn't know what had happened. Although Ling Xingqian didn't reprimand him, his dissatisfaction couldn't be more obvious. In the future, Feng Jinhua would need Ling Xingqian's support in the Taishang Three Profound Sects. Now that he had angered Ling Xingqian, he might lose this powerful backer in the future. Therefore, Feng Jinhua transferred all his anger to Su Feng. Su Feng, you better not die. I will skin you alive. Time's up. Open the seal. The Pang clan's Grand Elder suddenly opened his eyes and slowly stood up. I can't wait. Xian Tianqi chuckled, his eyes full of anticipation. The two of them acted at the same time and opened the seal between the eyebrows of the six extreme Great Tao Saint avatar. Swoosh! Swoosh! Everyone's gaze was focused on the array. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the Pang clan cultivators passed through the array and came out. There were a total of 200 Pang clan cultivators who entered the space inside the six extreme Great Tao Saint avatar. Now, only 150 of them came out. The space inside the avatar was extremely dangerous. Every time they entered, cultivators would die. Moreover, it was customary for the two clans to fight and kill each other. Naturally, there would be deaths. It was normal for so many people from the Pang clan to come out alive. However, Pang Yin was not among the crowd. Moreover, the Pang clan cultivators all had gloomy expressions. This made the Pang clan's grand elder's heart sink. He hurriedly sent a thought to the ugly Pang clan cultivator. Ancestor, did things not go well? It's not just not going well. Pang Yin died. The plan to control the avatar failed, and the treasure hunt was also thwarted. The cultivator snorted. Then divine light rolled outside. When the Xian clan cultivator did not speak, he raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise, "Not even a single Xian clan cultivator came out?" The Pang clan's grand elder replied, "Ancestor probably came out too early. For now, not a single Xian clan cultivator has come out." The cultivator's expression changed slightly. Did the Xian clan succeed this time and merge with the Six Extreme, Great Dao, Saints Dao Heart? The Pang clan's grand elder was shocked. "It's hard to say now. Let's wait and see." The Pang clan cultivator waved his hand and led the Pang clan cultivators to the square. Then, he stood with his hands behind his back and stared at the array formation passage between the Dao Saint's avatar's eyebrows. "Looking at the Pang clan cultivators, my clan must have returned with a full harvest. Perhaps the heaven-defying plan has already been completed." Xian Tianqi's smug expression became more and more obvious. Little did he know, 6 hours later, the array formation passage remained silent. Not a single Xian clan cultivator came out. The smile on Xian Tianqi's face stiffened. Another 2 hours passed. The array formation passage was still deathly silent. Xian Tianqi finally panicked. The Pang clan's grand elder was also shocked. He said, "Xian Tianqi, I can't hold on for much longer. In another 5 minutes, if the Xian clan cultivators don't come out, I will give up and the array formation passage will automatically seal itself." Xian Tianqi's face was ashen as he gloomily said, "Although only half of the people from my clan entered the Dao Saint's Dharma body, and we are not as strong as you, how could we all be wiped out in the Dharma body? Did the Pang clan cause trouble? Is that why they all stayed inside?" The Pang clan's grand elder was also furious. He was about to refute. Suddenly, the seal between the avatar's eyebrows automatically recovered. The space between the avatar's eyebrows closed and was completely sealed. Xian Tianqi and the Pang clan's grand elder were shocked. They quickly activated their dermic powers and tried to open the seal again. However, the seal became extremely firm. Even with their strength, they couldn't open it. This meant that the Xian clan cultivators were all trapped inside the avatar. In the past, when they entered the Six Extreme Dao Saint's avatar, many cultivators stayed inside. However, when they entered the second time, none of them survived. This time, all the Xian clan cultivators were trapped inside. This meant that they were all annihilated. Xian Tianqi clenched his teeth in shock. "Pang clan, you're so ruthless. You killed so many of my clan's experts, including Xian Tianhe, and killed them all. Just wait for the war between the Xian clan and the Pang clan." Xian Tianhe also entered the avatar, but how could the Pang clan kill all the Xian clan cultivators in one fell swoop? The Pang clan's grand elder didn't understand. He looked at the Pang clan cultivators where the Pang clan's grand elder was staying. Something must have happened inside the Six Extreme Dao Saint's avatar. That's why the Xian clan cultivators are trapped inside. Or maybe the Pang clan cultivator where the Pang clan's grand elder was staying said in a low voice. Chapter 2666. You actually came here personally. Xian Tianqi was indeed a peerless expert who had surpassed the Dao Lord level. He could tell that the ordinary-looking Pang clan cultivator was extraordinary and was instantly shocked. The Pang clan elder said, It's good that you know who I am. If I really wanted to kill those Xian clan cultivators, why would I hide anything? How can I not believe the words of the Pang clan's ancestor?" Xian Tianqi replied respectfully. The Xian clan and Pang clan cultivators did not know what was going on, but there was nothing they could do. They could only wait in the square. Whoosh! Ling Xingqian flew toward the Pang clan cultivators. He cupped his fists at the Pang clan cultivator who was staying with the Pang clan ancestor. Did you see Su Fong inside the Tao, Saint Celestial body? Su Fong, the Pang clan ancestor, was stunned. He then shook his head. Once the sixth extreme Tao, Saint Celestial body, is sealed again, it cannot be opened again. Since he did not come out, he must have died inside. What a pity. Ling Xingqian looked disappointed. Feng Jinhua said resentfully, that ant got lucky. Miss Pang opened her mouth to say something, but she closed it in the end. Since that ant is dead, there is no point in staying here any longer. Let's go. Ling Xingqian said casually. Just as they were about to leave, the Pang clan ancestors suddenly said, Young Master Ling, the sixth extreme Tao Saint Celestial tomb is the secret of our clan and the Xian clan. It is related to the rise and fall of both clans. I hope you and the Feng clan can make a solemn oath to prevent the secret from being leaked. Ling Xingqian was about to speak when the divine light changed. The Pang clan ancestor was also surprised and looked at the sixth extreme Tao Saint Celestial body's forehead. The other cultivators reacted quickly and did the same thing. A crack suddenly appeared in the sixth extreme Tao Saint Celestial body's forehead. The entrance of the array that was sealed was opened again. Then, under everyone's shocked and surprised gazes, a figure came out of the array. Su Fong. He is not dead. The figure that emerged from the seal of the formation was precisely Su Fong. His appearance instantly caused the crowd to exclaim in surprise. Su Fong's divine light swept over everyone, causing them to reveal a look of panic and horror. Then, they instantly turned into a fiery state and escaped back into the inner space of the Dharmakaya. Brat, let's see where you can run to. Qian Tianqi was startled for a moment, then roared angrily. First, a thought jumped out and flashed into the array passage. Then his real body followed closely behind Su Fong. There were more than 100 cultivators from the Xian clan who were supposed to be escorting those who entered the avatar to search for treasures. Now that none of them had come out, they couldn't sit still anymore and followed Qian Tianqi into the avatar. Just as the Pang clan's great elder was hesitating about whether or not he should enter, the Pang clan's great elder's voice rang out in his mind. This is very strange. You are not allowed to enter. Although Elder Pang was confused, he had no choice but to obey the ancestor's order. He didn't die? Perfect. I want to use you as a sacrifice for Ling Xingong. Ling Xing was not surprised at all. Then he smiled darkly. His body flashed, and he instantly appeared in front of the avatar's forehead and flashed into the inner space of the avatar. Feng Jinhua and the strong cultivator from the Feng clan followed closely behind. They entered the inner space of the avatar and chased after Su Fong. Elder Pang originally wanted to stop them from entering, but he was stopped by the Pang clan's great elder again. Ancestor, what on earth happened? Elder Pang was puzzled after much thought. The Pang clan's great elder glanced at the array passage that was closing between the avatar's eyebrows. His eyes were deep and solemn. I'm afraid this matter is not so simple. Think about it. Why were all the people from the Xian clan trapped inside, but our people were able to come out unscathed? Then, the seal suddenly opened again, and Su Fong appeared so coincidentally. Elder Pang's body trembled, and his eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Great Elder, you mean? Su Fong did what our clan and the Xian clan couldn't do? He merged with the Taoist heart of the sixth extreme Tao saint. How? How is this possible? The Pang clan's great elder said slowly, I'm afraid this is the truth. I still underestimated the strength of the strong cultivator who was hiding by Su Fong's side. That peerless strong cultivator's cultivation must be above mine. He might even not be much weaker than the sixth extreme Tao saint back then. Su Fong suddenly appeared just now. Could it be that he wanted to lure the strong cultivators from the Xian clan, Ling Xingqian, Feng Jinhua, and the others into the inner space of the avatar and kill them all in one fell swoop? What do you think his purpose is? Elder Pang sucked in a breath of cold air. Then he felt a lingering fear. Su Fong is so bold and so ruthless. Fortunately, Great Elder is wise and has been trying to rope in Su Fong. Otherwise, the Pang clan would have suffered the same fate as the Xian clan. Humph, that brat is really heartless. Our clan treated him so well, but he even wanted to steal our treasures, the Pang clan's Great Elder snorted. Humph, if Pang Yin didn't add insult to injury, he wouldn't have done such a heartless thing. He isn't heartless. At least he didn't kill us all. Great Elder, what should we do next? Let's wait and see. That's the only way. Just as the Pang clan's Great Elder had guessed, Su Fong's sudden appearance was to lure the strong cultivators from the Xian clan and Ling Xing Chun into the inner space of the Avatar, and then suppress them. Although Su Fong had successfully merged with the six extreme Great Tao Saints' Great Tao Heart, and could use the will of the Great Tao Heart to control the inner space of the Avatar, he had just merged with it. In addition, there was a huge gap in his cultivation. In a short time, he couldn't control the entire Avatar and unleash the power of the six extreme Great Tao Saint. Even a Xian Bao would require an extremely long process to merge with it before it could be activated. What more the Avatar of the six extreme Great Tao Saint? However, this was a rare opportunity. Su Fong naturally wouldn't miss it. Therefore, Su Fong purposely appeared. He planned to lure the strong cultivators from the Xian clan outside the Avatar, as well as Ling Xing Chun, Feng Jinhua, and the strong cultivators from the Feng clan into the inner space of the Avatar. Xian Tianqi charged into the inner space of the Avatar recklessly. In the blink of an eye, his body was sucked away by the twisting power. This was the space power of the Great Tao Saint's Avatar. Even with his strength, he couldn't resist it. He could only use his defense and go with the flow. Just as he was being teleported, a powerful and boundless will suddenly descended and attacked his Great Tao Heart. This was the supreme ruler of the Great Tao Saint's Avatar. Xian Tianqi's strength surpassed that of a Great Tao Master, but he still couldn't resist the suppression of the will. Moreover, he was currently in a state where he had lost control. Poof! Under the suppression of the powerful will, Xian Tianqi felt as if his soul had been slapped by an invisible hand. His soul trembled, and a shattering sound came from his heart. The sudden suppression of the will caused Xian Tianqi's soul to be severely injured. His Great Tao Heart also showed signs of shattering. QL11 the soul was the highest source of life. An injury to the soul was 10 times more serious than an injury to the physical body or avatar. It was almost impossible to recover. Although his Great Tao Heart didn't completely collapse, it was still severely injured. An injury to the soul and Great Tao Heart meant that Xian Tianqi, a strong cultivator who surpassed a Great Tao Master, was also severely injured. Su Fong was determined to get this strong cultivator from a Xian clan. Of course, he wouldn't just use the suppression of the will. Next, the twisting power enveloping Xian Tianqi violently attacked his physical body. His physical body was immediately torn apart and shattered. Chi! 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 A sharp light shot out from Xian Tianqi's shattered physical body. It actually tore apart the twisting power of the space. Then, his figure flashed and broke free from the shackles of space. He appeared in the space within the six extreme Tao Saints' fire elemental avatar. Has the six extreme Tao Saint been revived? Impossible. Who ambushed me? Xian Tianqi's physical body was destroyed, and only his avatar was left. Moreover, his soul and Great Tao Heart were both heavily injured. He was shocked and furious. He no longer had the arrogance and murderous aura he had when he was chasing Su Fong. Swoosh! 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 More than 10 figures passed through the blazing flames. Xian Tianqi wasn't surprised to see these people, and he instantly let down his guard. These cultivators were the Xian clan members who had entered the six extreme Tao Saints' avatar. The 2 Great Tao Masters were also among them. One of the Xian clan's Great Tao Masters asked, "Grand Elder, why are you here?" Xian Tianqi's divine light swept across them. "Where did Xian Tianhe go?" "My lord, Xian Tianhe." The old man revealed a sorrowful expression. Suddenly, another Xian clan's great Tao master suddenly transmitted his thoughts to Xian Tianqi. Grand Elder, Xian Tian has been killed. This place is dangerous. Leave quickly. Xian Tianqi was stunned. At this moment, Su Fang's cold voice sounded from all directions. Betraying me is a capital offense. As soon as he finished speaking, the great Tao master suddenly let out a miserable cry. The seal that Su Fang had planted in the depths of his soul was activated by Su Fang. The great Tao master's soul was instantly obliterated, and he turned into a corpse. Su Fang, you actually merged with the sixth extreme Tao, Saint's Tao heart. Xian Tianqi was shocked. Before he could react, the remaining Xian clan cultivators suddenly attacked him with their thoughts. If it was any other time, Xian Tianqi wouldn't have cared about these Xian clan cultivators' thoughts. However, he was already heavily injured, and he didn't expect his clansmen to suddenly attack him. He was caught off guard, and it made things worse. Xian Tianqi let out a furious roar. All of you betrayed the Xian clan. They're no longer members of the Xian clan. They're Su Fang's slaves. Su Fang stepped on flames and came over. With a thought, a wave of space divine power swept up the Xian clan cultivators, and they instantly left this space. Looking at Su Fang, Xian Tianqi shouted in disbelief. Su Fang, you are just a tiny ant. You actually merged with the sixth extreme Tao, Saint's Tao heart, and suppressed so many of our clansmen. Su Fang displayed a domineering aura. I'm just a tiny ant. Not only did I merge with the sixth extreme Tao, Saint's Tao heart, and suppress your clansmen, I also want to kill you, the Grand Elder of the Xian clan, who has surpassed the Tao Master level. Today, I will let you know what it means to be an ant devouring an elephant. Then he waved his arm, and flames swept out from the space inside the sixth extreme Tao, Saint's fire elemental avatar, and swallowed Xian Tianqi. As expected of a peerless expert who had surpassed the Tao Master level, Xian Tianqi was still crazily fighting back, even though he was heavily injured. Chapter 2667. Under Su Fang's fierce attacks, the Xian clan's peerless elite, Xian Tianqi, had lost his life. Although he had relied on the six extreme Tao Saints to kill Xian Tianqi, and it had been a sneak attack, he had still killed a peerless elite who had surpassed the Tao Lord level. This filled Su Fang with great confidence, and he had a domineering smile on his face. However, killing Xian Tianqi wasn't easy. After all, he had merged with the six extreme Tao Saints' Tao heart, and it wasn't Su Fang's own strength. It was a huge test for his Tao heart and will. Kaiyu's Tao heart had also become dim, and her spirit was dispirited. He moved his mind. He sensed Ling Xingqian, Feng Jinhua, the Feng clan elder, and the Xian clan cultivators who had entered the space within the six extreme Tao Saints avatar. Since you've entered, then none of you shall leave. Su Fang raised his eyebrows, and his eyes flashed with murderous intent. However, it was obvious that he couldn't continue attacking in his current state. Feng Jinhua and the Xian clan cultivators were fine, but Ling Xingqian and the Feng clan elder were only second to Xian Tianqi, especially Ling Xingqian, who came from the Three Taishang mysterious sect. He had a peerless divine power and an extraordinary Xian Bao. Killing him wouldn't be any easier than killing Xian Tianqi. If he used the six extreme Tao Saints' Tao heart to deal with Ling Xingqian, Su Fang's Tao heart wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and it might even be destroyed. He had to exhaust their strength first. In fact, there was no need for Su Fang to attack personally. Within the avatar space, the six extreme Tao Saints' fate had been erased by the Destiny Stage's life shrinking art. His entire avatar was in a state of constant decay, and no power could reverse the decay. Even a peerless elite like the Pang clan elder couldn't bear it. The stronger Ling Xingqian and the others were, the more they would be affected by the decay power within the avatar space. Furthermore, the ownerless thoughts that the six extreme Tao Saint had left in the avatar would become more and more active. In addition to the monsters that were formed from evil thoughts, even without Su Fang's help, they could slowly torture Ling Xingqian and the others to death. Su Fang, who was inside the Tao Saint celestial body, was also constantly being eroded by the power of death. However, his cultivation level was only at the Daojin realm. In addition, he had the Tianji life shortening technique. The power of death came from the Tianji life shortening technique. Hence, the erosion he endured was much weaker than Ling Xingqian and the others. Moreover, he could leave the Dao Saint spell body at any time. Naturally, he was not afraid of wasting time with Ling Xingqian and the others. Su Fang reached out and grabbed at the air. A mass of blood energy quickly gathered in his palm. It was the remnant blood energy of Xian Tianqi's body that had been killed. Every drop of blood from a peerless expert who had surpassed a Dao Lord was the essence. Su Fang naturally couldn't let it go to waste. It was a pity that Xian Tianqi's avatar had been destroyed. His Dao heart and willpower had completely collapsed. In addition, his strength was far inferior to the 6th extreme Dao Saint. Hence, he didn't leave behind any thoughts. Otherwise, it would be an excellent material for cultivation. Following that, Su Fang took a step forward and broke through the air. Within the 6th extreme Dao Saint celestial body, he was the supreme ruler. He could travel through space as he wished. After returning to the space where the 6th extreme Dao Saint's heart was, Su Fang ordered the remaining Xian clan Dao Lord experts under him to destroy all the formations that the Pang clan and Xian clan had secretly left behind. Then he covered the entire space within the avatar space with his consciousness. He paid attention to the actions of Ling Xingqian and the others. At the same time, he merged his primordial spirit, Xianyang, Violet Fate, and Heavenly Dao bodies with his body and started to cultivate and recover. Who knew that while he was in the state of constantly devouring elixirs, the life essence of experts, and the power of the avatar space, his body and avatar space suddenly started to tremble. This was because he had absorbed the life and energy of the experts' bodies and avatar space. It was surging within his body, causing a shocking commotion. What he had devoured was only the body and avatar of the Ling clan's Dao Lord experts that had been killed by the mysterious black shadow in the desert. However, it was extremely abundant and directly poured into Su Fang's body. The tremors that it brought to him, a mere cultivator at the lower realm of Dao Truth, were extremely shocking. If not for the fact that his body and avatar space were extremely strong and his body was extremely deep, he would not have been able to withstand it. Su Fang started to activate the blood qi in his body. At the same time, he also activated the world fragment, the power of the Yin-Yang world, and the power of Xianyang. He did his best to suppress the terrifying power that came from the Dao Lord experts. Then, he slowly refined and merged them. Sizzle. In just a few short years, under the shocking impact within his body, impurities started to surge out from under Su Fang's skin. Tribulation qi shot out from Su Fang's body and immediately turned into blazing tribulation fire. His body, avatar, and Zhoushuan Dao Palace were finally shattered and impacted. More impurities kept surging out from his body. The terrifying impact lasted for 3 months. At the same time, Su Fang also endured 3 months of intense pain. The impact finally ended. Su Fang looked at his body, avatar, and Zhoushuan Dao Palace again. They had all reached the middle realm of Dao Truth. There were many cultivators at the middle realm of Dao Truth in the Fire Luo mystic world. However, in the eyes of the mystic world cultivation forces like the Pang clan and the Xian clan, they were still insignificant ants. However, Su Fang's true strength now far surpassed that of a Dao Lord cultivator. He could even kill a Dao Lord easily with his various techniques. Then, Su Fang started to wantonly devour elixirs and the life essence of experts to replenish his empty body and avatar. QL11 next, Su Fang stabilized his state and started to do another big thing. That was to increase the quality of the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. He was prepared to use this life treasure as a foundation to cultivate the Xianhuang avatar. This time, he had unexpectedly obtained the 6 Extreme Dao Saint's avatar. However, Su Fang was not blinded by the huge opportunity. Although the Dao Saint's avatar could give him great strength, it was still an external force. Increasing one's own cultivation was the foundation of cultivation. Moreover, the six extreme Tao Saints avatar was constantly disappearing. It cannot be used by Su Fong forever. Su Fong directly used his mind to grab gems and spiritual items of the six extreme Tao Saints avatar from the internal space of the six extreme Tao Saints avatar. Then he grabbed in the air again. There were more than 100 ownerless thoughts that contained the six extreme Tao force and Taoist rhymes. These gems and spiritual items were injected into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda by Su Fong. The Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda continuously absorbed them and changed its quality. The Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda was in a state of fusion with Su Fong's physical body. Otherwise, the vast amount of high-grade energy resources would cause the avatar to explode. Su Fong separated these thoughts from his primordial spirit consciousness to fuse and comprehend the Taoist rhymes and laws within. After completely grasping them, Su Fong would form a formation within the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. This way, the avatar could be upgraded to the height of the Xian Bao. Then, it could be used as a foundation to cultivate the avatar. Cultivating a new avatar was an extremely long process. However, Su Fong was not in a hurry. He also did not lack resources. One day, he would cultivate the fifth avatar. At that time, Su Fong would once again possess the six extreme Tao powers. Time passed. Unknowingly, 1,000 years had passed. Su Fong was immersed in the state of cultivation, constantly increasing his strength. Ling Xingqian and the others who chased him into the internal space of the six extreme Tao Saint avatar were in big trouble. The withering energy within the avatar was constantly eroding everything. In addition, they were constantly encountering monsters formed by thoughts. All of them were in a sorry state, especially the Xian clan cultivators. More than 30 of them had already died. They originally thought that it would be easy to capture Su Fong. However, after using all kinds of methods, they could not even find a trace of Su Fong. Even Xian Tianqi had disappeared. Only then did Ling Xingqian and the others realize that something was wrong. They prepared to leave the six extreme Tao Saint avatar. In the internal space of the wood avatar, Ling Xingqian, Feng Jinhua, and the Feng clan elder were gathered together. Ling Xingqian did not look any less domineering as he said in a deep voice, "Things are very strange. It's not worth it to continue staying in the internal space of the Tao Saint avatar for a mere ant like Su Fong. Let's leave quickly." The Feng clan elder smiled bitterly and said, "This Tao Saint avatar is an independent world. It's easy to enter, but not easy to leave. Not to mention us, even our clan leader would find it difficult to do so." Feng Jinhua did not mind and said, "Granduncle, don't worry. With young Masterling around, there's no place that could trap us. Granduncle, don't forget about the three supreme divine powers of the Taishang, three mysterious sects." The Feng clan elders' eyes lit up. That's right. The three supreme divine powers of the Taishang, three mysterious sects control time, space, and the will of heaven. Young Master Ling has learned the true teachings of the three supreme divine powers of the Taishang, three mysterious sects. I'm sure the Tao Saint avatar will not be able to restrain young Master Ling. No wonder young Master Ling dares to take the risk. Ling Xingqian smiled casually, revealing an incomparable arrogance and domineering aura. Suddenly, Su Fong's domineering and cold voice resounded in the internal space of the avatar. "If you want to leave, you'll have to ask if I, Su Fong, agree to it." Then, with a flash of divine radiance, Su Fong stepped out from the void. Feng Jinhua and the Feng clan elders' divine radiance changed. Ling Xingqian's eyes flashed with a trace of radiance as he stared at Su Fong. "You're able to move freely in the Tao Saint avatar. It seems like you've merged with the six extreme Tao Saints' remnant will." As expected of an exceptional genius from the Taishang, three mysterious sects, he could see through the clues with just a glance. The Feng clan elder revealed an incredulous expression. "You're just a lowly ant from the Pansong universe. You've merged with the six extreme Tao Saint avatar? How is this possible?" In your eyes, I'm just an ant. And in this Tao Saint avatar, you're just an ant. Your life is in my hands. Killing you is as easy as flipping my hand. Su Fong shouted domineeringly as he stretched out his hand and pointed at the Feng clan expert. The 6 extreme Tao Saint avatars' will and all the power in the internal space of the avatar were triggered by Su Fong. Rumble. Under the suppression of the supreme will, the Feng clan expert's soul and Tao heart were trembling. He was unable to resist at all. His physical body, Tao Palace, and the avatar within the Tao Palace were shattered layer by layer under the impact of the vast energy. How can I allow you to be so presumptuous in front of me? Even if you've merged with the 6 extreme Tao Saint avatars will, you're still not qualified to kill in front of me. Heavenly Tao will, heart-shattering sword. Ling Xingchen let out a majestic voice. A sword aura that contained a type of supreme heavenly Tao will swept out with a powerful might that could crush all wills. Chapter 2668. Heaven's will heart-shattering sword. It contained the supreme will of the Great Path and actually shattered the 6 extreme Great Path Saints' will with a single strike. The 3 supreme profound sects are indeed terrifying. Su Fong was shocked, and he laughed coldly. Inside the 6 extreme Tao Saint celestial body, his will is indestructible. Let's see how many times you could destroy it. Swish, swish. Streaks of thought that contain the will of the 6 extreme Great Path Saint Heart, Dharma power, and Taoist rhyme. Under the control of Su Fong's consciousness, they turned into streaks of green figures that charged towards Ling Xingchen, Feng Jinhua, and the elder from the Feng clan. Ling Xingchen's divine light changed slightly. The old man of the Feng clan bellowed, Su Fong, if you dare to attack me, the Feng clan will not rest until you are dead. Not only you, but all the creatures in the Pansong universe will be buried with you. These words made Su Fong snort disdainfully. Even if I don't kill you, do you think the Feng clan will let me go? You still want to use the Pansong universe to threaten me. Not only you, it won't be long before I personally visit the Feng clan to seek justice for the heavenly lady. Feng Jinhua sneered in disdain and threatened, Su Fong, don't forget senior brother Xing Chen's and my status. If we lose even a single hair, the 3 highest profound sects will tear your tendons and skin you alive. 3 supreme profound sects? Other than using power to oppress others, what else do you have? Without the power behind you, all of you are nothing. I will pluck out all the hair on your body. Let's see what the 3 supreme profound sects can do to me. Su Fongdao laughed mockingly. With a wave of his hand, the densely packed green figures transformed into a dense green aura that swept over. Wood-type energy roared like a vast ocean. The green aura instantly transformed into flowers, plants, and trees that grew and surged wildly. Puff, puff. All the flowers, grass, and trees had grown to the extreme. They all exploded, turning into terrifying life, energy, and the aura of the Great Path of Wood. It contained the will of the 6 extreme Great Path Saints. It attacked Ling Xingchen, the elder of the Feng clan, and Feng Jinhua's body and will. Sky-splitting seal. Ling Xingang's expression was serious. Facing such a horrifying attack, he had to take it seriously. He had to use his true abilities. He quickly fused his Dharma body with his physical body and launched a series of Dharma seals, forming a space collapse zone around him that devoured the vast energy attack. However, Su Fong's attack contained will and rhymes of ways that could not be devoured. It wildly battered their souls and minds. Facing 6 extreme Tao Saints, terrifying willpower, and Tao Presence aura impact, Ling Xingchen was unable to withstand it. Feng Jinhua was immediately in a severely injured state. Ling Xingchen and the elder from the Feng clan were also severely injured. Ling Xingchen made another hand seal. The power of time suddenly erupted, causing the surrounding flow of time to slow down. Su Fong's attack was also being worn down by the power of time. After using this time god art, Ling Xingchen's spirit immediately withered. Su Fong, I will remember you. Ling Xing shouted coldly. He flipped his right hand and took out a rune talisman. Seeing that the situation was not good, Ling Xingchen planned to escape. After the rune talisman was activated, it exploded with a shocking power of space, enveloping the three of them. Immediately, the space began to distort and was about to pull the three of them out of the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body. At this critical moment, Ling Xingchen had no choice but to take out a life-saving rune talisman. It was of a much higher level than Feng Jin was. It could even break through the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body. Bang! Su Feng's eyes suddenly emitted a mysterious purple light, enveloping the three of them who were about to escape. The purple light actually passed through the distorting power of space around the three of them and landed on their bodies. It wrapped around their fate and turned into a purple gas that flowed out of their bodies. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Although it was only a short time, the aura of the three of them underwent an obvious change in an instant. They were enveloped by a strange and ominous power, and their bodies emitted an aura of misfortune and disaster. Purple fate Dharma body, devouring fate. Whoosh! The three of them were enveloped by the distorting power of the rune talisman and disappeared from the Dharma body without a trace. They actually managed to escape. Su Feng felt that it was a pity. It seemed like he had underestimated Ling Xingchen's strength and the power of the three highest mysterious sects. Immediately, Su Feng sneered. However, their fate was devoured by my purple fate Dharma body. Although they won't be as unlucky as Ling Xingong, they won't have any good luck to accompany them in the future. That Feng Jinhua was planted with a life-leading karma thread by me. I'll keep him as a spy to deal with the Feng clan. As for Ling Xingchen, it won't be long before I surpass you. Next, he still had to deal with the Xian clan cultivators who had entered the Dharma body. Whoosh! From within the statue of the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body, a distorting power suddenly appeared and swept three figures out. They were Ling Xingchen, Feng Jinhua, and the Feng clan cultivator who had escaped from the Dharma body with the help of the rune talisman. The moment they appeared, Ling Xingchen opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of essence blood. The essence blood contained the power of space and caused the space to tremble. Although Ling Xingchen had escaped from the Dharma body's Dharma body, when he broke through the shackles, he was still affected by the spatial tremors caused by the Dharma body's Dharma body. His physical body was injured and his Tao palace was shaken. Su Feng, Ling Xingchen stared at the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body. His eyes flashed with a sharp killing intent. As a peerless genius of the three highest mysterious sects, Ling Xingchen had experienced failure before. However, it was different this time. QL11, the injuries to his physical body, Dharma body, and Xintian Tao Palace were secondary. To any cultivator, having their fate devoured was an extremely serious matter. Ling Xingchen had a supreme Dharma body that contained the will of the heavenly Tao. He was clearer about this than other cultivators. Moreover, Su Feng had a supreme Dharma body that could devour fate. This made Ling Xingchen even more furious and fearful. Such a person was only at the true Tao realm. Once he matured, he would definitely be a mortal enemy. Feng Jinhua also gritted his teeth and said, "Senior brother Xingchen, why don't we stay here and wait for Su Feng to come out, idiot?" Once Su Feng can use the power of the six extreme Tao Saint, who can fight against him? Let's leave quickly and ask the sect's experts to help. Ling Xingchen decisively rejected Feng Jinhua's suggestion. Then, without hesitation, he flew towards the outside of the divine tomb. Feng Jinhua was scolded until his face was ashen. He looked at the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body with resentment. Then, together with the Feng clan's experts, he hurriedly left with the other Feng clan experts. The remaining members of the Pang clan could guess what had happened inside the six extreme Tao Saints Dharma body from the looks of Ling Xingchen and the others. They were all extremely shocked. After a moment of silence, the cultivator of the Pang clan that the Pang clan's old ancestor was residing and shouted at the statue, "Congratulations to young Master Su Feng for obtaining a supreme creation." The cultivators of the Pang clan were all stunned. The 6 Extreme Tao Saints Dharma body was a treasure that belonged to both the Pang clan and the Xian clan. Now that it had been taken away by Su Fong, the Pang clan had lost their treasure. However, the old ancestor did not try to take it back. Instead, he congratulated Su Fong. It was really strange. However, everyone quickly understood. Now that Su Fong had merged with the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' will, it meant that he had control of the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body. At this moment, even the Pang clan's old ancestor could not do anything to Su Fong. Moreover, the Pang clan's old ancestor was sure that Su Fong had a peerless expert by his side. Therefore, he did not dare to touch Su Fong. Rather than provoking a strong enemy for the Pang clan, it was better to do a favor. The Pang clan's old ancestor is indeed very righteous. I, Su Fong, will remember the Pang clan's favor. Take these thoughts and spiritual items as a little compensation to the Pang clan. Su Fong's voice came from the statue. Then, a crack appeared between his eyebrows. Flaming Xian Guang flashed out from it. Among these flaming Xian Guang, there were spiritual items born from the Fire Dharma body. There were also the thoughts of the 6 Extreme Tao Saint. There were more than 300 of them. If there were no accidents, the Pang clan would be able to get this many treasures from the Dharma body. Thank you, young Master Su Fong. The Pang clan's old ancestor was overjoyed. He absorbed all the flaming Xian Guang into his body. The 3 supreme mysterious sects, the Feng clan and the Xian clan, will definitely send out peerless experts to make a comeback. Young Master Su Fong, you should leave as soon as possible. I will take my leave first. If there is a chance in the future, I will invite young Master Su Fong to the Pang clan as a guest. The Pang clan's old ancestor cupped his fists at the statue. Then, he led all the Pang clan's people out of the square. 10 days later, Su Fong walked out from the array of the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body. He used his sensing ability and the heavenly secret life shrinking technique to sense the outer space of the divine tomb. It seems like everyone has left. However, just as the Pang clan's old ancestor has guessed, the experts from the 3 supreme mysterious sects will make a comeback soon. I should leave as soon as possible. Su Fong made up his mind and immediately used his thoughts. Rumble. The 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body that even the Pang clan's old ancestor could not shake shook violently. The runes and the vast array on it flashed with shocking divine light and burst out with terrifying divine power. Keep! Su Fong's body was trembling. His face was pale, and he suddenly shouted angrily. The great Tao Saint's Dharma body shrunk rapidly and was absorbed into the Jiushuan Tao Palace by Su Fong. The 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body is finally in my hands, including all the treasures inside the Dharma body. They all belong to me, Su Fong. I will use the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body to rise up in the divine domain of the Jiushuan. Su Fong revealed a domineering smile. The aura of a supreme overlord in the past rose from his body. Rumble. The space began to shake violently. The 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body was merged with the entire divine tomb. Now that the Dharma body was taken away by Su Fong, the divine tomb space began to collapse, causing an earth-shattering commotion. It seems like I have no choice but to leave. Su Fong wiped the sweat from his forehead and took out a Xian Bao. It was the fire cloud flying carriage that Su Fong had taken from Miss Pang. After being in the 6 Extreme Tao Saints' Dharma body for more than 1,000 years, Su Fong had already merged with the Xian Bao. It was now time to use it.